know. Been pounding water like all day and I'm still thirsty.
Hold on, you've had water this whole time?
Yeah, we're in the desert.
Where did you get it?
Took it from you guys.
Anthony, Dane has literally died of dehydration back there while you've been enjoying your water.
Yikes.
Come on, let's go help him. Come on, Dane. Come on, buddy. Oh, he doesn't look so good. We're gonna have to splash some water on his face.
All right.
That boy.
Where'd you get water from?
Anthony's been holding out on us.
Listen, Dane, I think you're being like super dramatic right now and we got places to be. So come on, grab your hand, let's go.
Good news is we got some water.
Get him up, get him up. Get him up,
Come on, bud.
So Levi, I don't know if you know this, but 85% of all sandboxes in the world get their sand from this desert right here.
Really?
Playgrounds, schools, things such as that.
What about beaches? Do they also get their sand?
Yeah, I think that's where, yeah, probably a lot of beaches and whatnot. There's just so much of it, you know what I mean?
Well, you gotta use sand to make like concrete and bricks and stuff.
Yeah.
How do you even know this stuff?
Ah! How the hell are we supposed to find a coin in the middle of the freaking desert?
Has anybody checked maybe the other side of that coin for a better clue or anything?
It has GPS coordinates?
It has GPS coordinates?
It has GPS coordinates!
Oh, thank God.
Well, what's it say?
42 north, negative 115 west. Well,
This way. Okay. So, it's over here. We're supposed to be close now.
huh.
Okay, it's supposed to be somewhere around here.
Does anybody have a shovel? Because I left mine back there. Oh, what are you doing?
Oh,
Tore something.
that is incredible.
What is?
Okay.
Sure are a lot of roots.
Whoa. This is it.
Sand.
Ooh.
Coin.
What is it?
Looks like a lake.
We'll flip it over. Maybe there's GPS coordinates on the back.
Uh-huh.
Bingo. Let's go!
Where will our brave explorers venture off to next? Only the coin knows.
We know too.
Trouble, stay away from my door. Trouble, stay away from my door.
Well, welcome back everybody to the afternoon session here on day 3 of TRCMA 2022. Welcome, and we got a great show here for you this afternoon. I'm just going to get right into it. We got Brite starting things off, followed by Detailer's Helper, and then KXK Dynamics unfortunately couldn't make it, but that just means Rupes' block is even bigger, so a lot of polishing action coming your way later this afternoon. So we got a lot to look forward to here. But anyway, that's enough of me talking. Let's get right to the action.
Thank you, Dane. As we've said, make sure you guys are picking up because all those brands are on sale, 20% off today. And as always, make sure you pick up one of the challenge coins. Again, it goes to a great cause, the JDRF. So speaking of 20% off and great products, I got Tom Smith of Brite here. Tom, how are you, buddy?
Great, my friend. How are you?
See ya. So tell me, with what are some of these? What is some of the new stuff that you've got with the new Brite skins?
Well, Brite skins, it just kind of hit me a little over a year ago. there's a spot that we all have that's always in front of the camera that social media is always considering, and it's always there, and it's not being utilized. And it's right there on the side of your polisher.
You got a lot of real estate there.
There is a lot of real estate, and they make beautiful tools. I mean, Rupes makes beautiful tools. There's a lot of other good tools out there, but there's just so much beautiful real estate that's not being.
And well, us as detailers, we want to customize them.
Absolutely. This is, you've got your hot rod, you've got your toolbox for mechanics. Now you've got your ultimate tool that you're using that you can personalize. So what we did first, we came out with just some standardized skins that you could purchase from us. But our real goal was to get something that was fully customizable, so you could personalize it exactly to you.
Maybe put your own shop logo or something like that on there.
Exactly. Your logo, your information. Maybe you're into Dragons and you want to put it on there. Maybe you're into old Chevys and you want to put that on there. Whatever it is, we wanted to give you that availability to make that your own.
Okay. So how would we go about doing that?
It's so easy. Now, we all grew up loving stickers, right? So first, I want you to check something for me, Levi. This is not just a normal sticker. We'll peel it off there. Is that a little thicker than a normal sticker?
It is. I don't know if you can get a camera up on this so we can actually see this thickness on here, but you guys can see that is it is a very thick, hardy, almost like PPF.
It is PPF, actually.
Well, there you go. Nice. That would explain it.
So we've got a process and an adhesion that we're using there. So what's cool is you can put that onto any polisher. We've had it on there over a year on some of these in high volume shops, not coming off at all. It's doing an excellent job. It doesn't, it keeps your tool from getting scratched up and abused and hammered on, just like PPF would on the front of a car, but you've got your nice logo information behind there and everything that you want to personalize that with. And when you do peel it off, which you can do a week later or a year later, it doesn't leave the adhesive behind, so you don't leave a mess. So it's a special adhesive that we were able to work out that does that. It's pretty amazing stuff.
Yeah. So let's say I wanted to customize my own. What do I just go to your website? What do I do with that?
You can go to the website, not quite yet, or we go live next Monday on the 4th.
Okay.
So this is kind of a teaser here. But let me just kind of tell you a little about how easy they are to install.
Okay, yeah, let's show me.
So there's one thing that is really the most important. These tools get used like crazy, and with compounds, polishes, they have different solvents, waxes, oils, and things in them.
Hand oils and all that.
Exactly. So with all that, it's just not going to adhere unless we clean it. So isopropyl alcohol is what we're going to want. If I could turn the label there so you can see it. And get that isopropyl alcohol. Don't spray the machine down, spray a microfiber towel. I recommend a Rag Company towel.
That's right, the best kind for that.
Absolutely. Spray it, wipe it down 3 times with 3 different sections of the towel so that you're going to a fresh section.
Okay, so you really want to make sure that you get everything off, which is why you say 3 times. So wipe it, spray down the towel, give it a good wipe down, flip the towel, spray the towel again, give it another wipe down, flip the towel one more time to a fresh side.
That's right. And then you're ready to go. This one's already been pre-cleaned. So just to show you, now this was kind of a surprise for you guys, but we made up a Rag Company one. So this has got everything. This one happens to be for the Rupes, any of the Bigfoot series. So it'll fit Melee, it'll fit the rotary version, the LH19E. It's going to fit the LHR 21 and 15. We're working on ones for the smaller tools, but we make them for other different brands too, but we've got Rupes here, so we're going to show these on Rupes today.
Okay.
So we're just going to grab whatever we want. I like to start with, let me switch you sides here. I like to start with the center sticker.
Okay.
Peel that sticker off there. You're just going to take and get right in the middle of that, and it's going to be hard for you guys to see that on camera. Just center it up, okay? So center it up right there in the middle of the machine. And then we're just going to run our finger down the middle of that and then walk it out. Walk it out to the edge. Very, very simple. Now we'll roll our edge on both sides. Okay? And then we'll walk it out again. We'll walk it into the lowest area. we're going to walk that out there. We're not going to totally press it down yet. And then once we like our alignment, then it's pressure sensitive. So we're just going to press down there and kind of make sure we don't have any bubbles. And that's it.
Simple.
Very simple. Then we're going to grab our next sticker. They're all templated and ready for these machines. Put that on there. Once again, when you like where it's at, give it a little bit of pressure. Flip it on its side. You're going to go ahead and get it where it needs to be. Kind of walk this up to where it should go. Walk it down. Give it some pressure. Go to the other side. What's cool about these too is if you make a mistake, it's no big deal. You can peel it and re-stick it as long as you do it right away. Now, if you did it in a year, maybe that'd be a different story. But and then when you get to the sides, same thing. Pull that out, lay it down, line it up. Get it where you want. Grab the next one. Get it lined up. Get it on there, lay it down, and then put your pressure on it. But that's all it takes to go from, and then we have the other side, and then we also have, for your flamethrowers, if you're rocking a set of the flamethrower lights, which of course I'm going to recommend you do, people out there really love them, and this will just wrap right on there, and it's really easy to do. So
nice. But yeah, that's it all installed and ready to go. Simple, very easy. And then on top of that, what most people don't realize is this actually provides some protection, just like a PPF.
Absolutely.
So I've notoriously had, one of the first Rupes in the state, and
you and me both.
It went through a lot. Those machines have been well loved, well used, well abused, and I wish we had something like this back then. But we were both still learning and doing that. But I think this is really great, and I love the customization factor with that, where a detailer can get on there, put up a shop logo or maybe a style, and that way not only are you branding them for your company, but maybe each one of your employees. If you've got a good employee and you want to reward them with their tool, you
put
can
their order theirs with their name on the front of it.
Yep, exactly. And then
nobody can
does.
steal the other guy's tool. They're responsible for their equipment. And we're going to have them for different shows. So when we get to the SEMA show, we'll have a SEMA edition. When we get to MTE, we'll have an MTE edition. Southern Detailers Conference, we're going to have some available. It's, you go around buying T-shirts. Yeah. Why not put something on your polisher that people can learn about you?
Yeah. No, that's a great thing. And I really like that not only do you have the standard patterns available for folks that want to get into that and maybe use up the current standard set, but then of course, like you said, the customization, which is really, I think, the coolest thing, because you've got so many different versions available. That's what's kind of cool. You can really change it. I was going to grab this middle one here. You can do whatever you want. So I mean, that's the really neat thing about this, is its ability to literally just customize the pattern and how you want to go about making your polisher, making it truly yours. Which is really neat. Well, awesome, Tom. That's great. So you make other products.
We do.
I want to trade you spots. Show me on this side what you got over here.
Let's set these polishers down for just a second. And first, let me introduce you to the most famous floor mat on the planet.
Does it always just stay like this, or?
I have 2 German Shepherds, so I have a problem.
Yeah.
And if you have any pet that has hair, you have a pet hair problem. Am I right?
Yes, very much so.
Yeah. Is that maybe a gerbil?
Oh, you have a corgi. He sheds about this much.
Okay. Well, just grab that dog and shake it a little, and you've got some of this. But I leave my dogs in the back of my Jeep sometimes, and I put them in there for about an hour, and they did most of this. And then to make it worse, I rubbed some extra hair on it.
Oh, just for fun.
I just like to have a good time. Yeah, absolutely. And we don't have a vacuum, plus it would really make the video go bad if we fired one up. But if you haven't used it for real, you are missing out. Now, we originally started with the first tool, which was the For Real version 1. Okay, then we came out with the For Real version 2 here. The difference was, so if you tried the first one and you haven't tried the second, Let me pull this out of here and show you the difference.
Just hold them right there so they can get a
There you
camera
go.
on that.
Can you see the difference? So it's got these little extra bumpers on each corner, and that makes a huge difference they act like a wear bar. It doesn't let you over push. We also have all these different adapters, whether you've got Dyson, Shark, Rigid, the large Rigid vacuum, whatever you might have. But that tool, we sold about 150,000 of these last year, and people absolutely love them.
They're an indispensable tool. Really, once you get used to them, it's the way to go, and it saves you so much time, so much headache.
Well, and it's a progressional tool. I don't know if you know what I mean there, but as you use it, it's going to wear out. Carpets are rough. It's like sandpaper. So they're going to wear down, but when it gets to where it's flat, or when it goes bald like I'm getting, then it's going to actually work better on short dog hair and on lint.
Yeah, it softens up a little bit, and it gets a little more grabby.
Yeah, exactly. It's just got more rubber on the road, as it were.
Yeah, and
instead of
I
attraction.
honestly keep ones that are worn. I'll have a couple of those available just in case, because you'll get to a spot and you're trying to work a piece of hair that's just, it's a short hair and it's stuck, and it's not grabbing it, but if I swap the tip and grab one of the softer worn ones, I can pull that hair very
Exactly.
quickly.
You can just kind of knuckle into it and get into there. Then also this year we brought out our newest version, which is called the Hammerhead. And you can probably see why it's called the Hammerhead. You can just imagine that thing kind of working its way along through that hair. This is a pretty neat tool because it cuts a 6-inch wide path instead of just a 2-inch wide path. It also will outlast this tool, not because it's made better, it's the same material. It has to do with the action. A lot of guys use this incorrectly. They want to scrub with it, and we're guys, so we think that more pressure is better.
Yeah.
And it isn't. The tool, when you push down too hard, it doesn't let the suction remove and do its job because you're pinching that hair against the carpet. Also, going one way, if you could imagine, if you're brushing your dog and you brushed him really quick back and forth, he'd be pretty pissed.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Same with this. Just go one way and you'll pull that hair out. And then the third is to use a detail spray.
Something to knock down provide a little glide over the surface. So
And neutralize the static.
Yeah.
Because you've probably seen this hair just gets like a magnet and draws it back.
in.
Break that static with some type of detail spray or glass cleaner. Paint gloss from P&S is a great one. But that works good with this too. But this is mostly for your big wide open areas, the back of an SUV. And you're just going to use it one way. It's impossible to go back and forth with it. You'll just grab it and pull, and it will just grab that hair and pull it out. It's amazing.
Yeah. No, it's truly an indispensable product, and so many people, once they use it, they're like, oh my gosh, I don't know how I live with it. And I tell folks, if you're running a detail shop or running a small shop out of your garage on the weekends, that is something to have because of the fact that you can really tackle anything with a very simple vacuum, an easy small shop vac. That thing supercharges your vacuum. Literally, it does.
It does.
So.
It's been a great tool. It's not a tool that's going to last you forever, but I don't think every buffing pad you buy lasts forever, does it?
No, and it's a consumable. But hey, guys, 20% off the Rag Company today. You can pick some up. Get your own for reals. So, Tom, thank you for being here.
You bet.
Appreciate it. Dane, do we have any questions for Tom real quick before we move on to the next segment?
Yeah, there are actually a lot of people. I think people are more familiar with the for real, so they obviously like that, and they're espousing just as much, saying they love theirs. But they were interested in the skin, so there were some questions regarding that because I hadn't seen that before in many cases. Hans, for one, was asking, is there a clear film option? Because he's got tools from the One Wing Challenge, and he wants to protect those Sharpie marks on
They're
them.
autographed machines from our One Wing Challenge, and he'd like to take care of them.
You know what? Have him contact me.
Okay.
At tom@buffbrite.com, and we will make that happen for you. We can do that.
That's
There you go,
awesome.
Hans.
Okay. Well, that's great. And Umberto asking a question, which, Tom, you actually already answered, but I'll put it up anyway. Umberto was wondering if they're available only for Rupes or if there are other options available for other tools. And we know the answer is yes, but you could elaborate a bit more if you like.
Yeah.
So, yes, we have them for Flex. We have them for the Griots G9. We also have them for some other brands, Max Shine and things like that. And we've got more coming all the time. So, we'll have the mini polishers and others.
If you've got a polisher, you've got a skin for it, just about.
Just about. Yeah, all the popular stuff is there now, and we'll add more as you go.
There you go.
All right. Well, that pretty much the extent of that. But there were some folks basically saying like they're for real, even though they've worn it down, like Hans was saying, it still works. It still works great. So he's actually using it probably past the point he'd want to get a new one, but it's still working. So
that's a good thing.
Yeah. No, they're tough. But yeah, no, they're happy to see that. Anyway, guys, anything left to add there? Where can they find these?
Where can they go?
I didn't hear his last question.
Oh, yeah, he just said, where can they find them?
For the skins?
Everything. Where
everything.
Tell them about where they need to check out.
Buffbrite.com, that's Brite. And you can find all of our vacuuming tools, our lighting solutions, and our skins. Now, currently on the site, you'll only be able to find our pre-made ones. But this next week, our configurator will be up and running, and you can plan anything you want.
There you go. So next couple weeks, stay tuned for the configurator, and you can build your own. Should be really
It's
awesome.
a lot of fun. I sent it to my son, and he said, you know what, I used to play games when I sat on the toilet. Now I just sit and make up skins.
There you go.
And actually, I have one last question that relates to that. Alberto asking, for the skins, do we submit our logos, or how does that work?
For the skins.
No, you can actually download your own logo. There's a download tab right on there. You just hit that file, upload it in your own configurator, and you can save 10 different styles and keep working on them and adding things to it. You can actually take a picture of your car or your family, make it your background, and then lay everything else all over. It's fully customizable.
Well, we'll have to check it out, that's for sure. So make sure you go to buffbrite.com, check that out, and stay tuned for the configurator. It's going to be a good time. All right, Dane, back to you.
Well, back to me, because next up, we've got ourselves yet another guest. I'm actually going to put his up on the screen now, saying, hey, Detailer's Helper, welcome, Kevin. How's it going?
Hey, Dane. What's going on, man?
Oh, just hanging out here in the podcast studio. It looks like you got a pretty broad array of things going on over there. What's up?
That's right. Well, so I've got Detailer's Helper and a little bit of stuff from Rugged Restore because I got some stuff for detailing on that brand. But the first thing I want to talk about, basically, we have our Detailer's Helper. We've been around, this is actually, I just couldn't believe it, but we've been 9 years so far with Detailer's Helper. And so we've got 3 different versions of the main belts. Rag Company carries all 3, which I believe are 20% off today, right, Dang? And so we've got the HD version, the production version, and the standard version. And so I wanted to show you those real quick. Basically, the HD version has 5 bags. I'll go through each one of those. The standard version, this is the original version that we came out with back in 2013. Story goes that I sewed the first one on my wife's sewing machine. So that's still basically the same because it works with everything that's out there on the market. And then we have a production version, which is basically for a high volume shop, car wash, that kind of thing. It just comes with 2 different bags, the towel hook and cord wrangler interior bag, and then a large bag. So those are those. And then what the Rag Company doesn't carry are our add-on bags. So I'll go through each one of those real quick as well. So with the HD, with all the Detailer's Helper belts, the goal was a couple of things. First of all, lightweight, ergonomic, non-scratching, and able to hold pretty much anything on the market. And then most importantly, efficiency. We just talked to Tom from Buffbrite. That tool is a great efficiency tool. And just like anything else that you do in your detail shop, you want to save as much money and time as possible. So time is money. So what we did was, first of all, I sewed this one originally around all the different products that I used at the time, 16-ounce bottles, 13-ounce bottles, towels, my phone, all of that. So that's how this works. Basically, this is the HD belt, which has a 16-ounce bottle pocket, which also holds a 32-ounce bottle too. We've got a 32-ounce bottle, which will hold even bigger. This is a old school 205 bottle. The cell phone pocket here, which holds a cell phone, or you can put your light in there if you want to. You've got a little pin light that'll fit in there. This is actually designed to hold a pad. I put towels in it. And then we have the towel loop itself. I'll show you the towel loop / cord loop in just a second. And then this is for a polisher. So if you're doing RVs, you're doing marine, you're doing anything where you need to be hands-free at any time, this bag is specially designed to hold a polisher. I'll show you. So this is my Rupes tool, which clearly has a dirty pad still on it. Tom, I need your skins for this because it's totally dirty and looks terrible. But the way that this polisher bag works, I've got my personal HD on that I've configured. I've used this forever. That's why it looks like that. So if you're climbing, you need to do hands-free, that sort of thing. All you do is you stick it in here like that. There's some question whether or not this, oh, my phone. There's one question whether or not this hurts the cord. It doesn't. It actually rests on the head of the polisher, so you can be hands-free. As you can see, this is a normal size polisher. It's not that heavy. I can put my rotary in here, which is kind of heavy, and it's still fine. I wouldn't want to walk around with it all day. But you can use this either on cars, RVs, or doing marine. So that's how that's designed. The other thing I forgot to say was this. This is part of our patent. This actually is designed to cover the plastic belt loop that comes with the HD. And so that in particular was designed specifically to protect all surfaces from being scratched, because the scratches come from your bottle and your pocket and that kind of thing. And so these are kind of a jeans material. So we did that instead. I'm going to take this out for a second, show you some of these individual bags. Oh, the other belt that we make is for little kids. So if you've got little kids, they want to be like dad or mom detailing, we've got this thing called the Little Helper. So we've got one of my favorite bags, which we were requested to make, is our coating bottle bag. If you've ever dropped or knocked over a coating bottle, you know how expensive they are. They literally, some of these will pay for this belt like 4 times. So what we did is we designed it to fit pretty much all 30, 50, that kind of thing, that 30 or 50 mil size bottles, that kind of thing. And what I tend to do is if I've got one that has a dropper, I literally just leave the bottle in there and then I pull it out, put it on my pad, my applicator, and then I put it back in the bottle. So that makes it super fast. You're not going to knock it over. You're not messing with it or wondering where it is. So let's see. Other ones, we've got the nano bag, which fits long head or short head nano. So that fits in there. And we have these both for the standard and for the HD in every color. Bag, interior tools bag. So you've got 2 slots. It's basically the same size as our phone bag, but it's got a seam down the middle of it so you can carry tools. Juan Gonzalez is a big fan of this. This is another option for you for carrying your polisher. It's actually just a loop that's heavily reinforced, so you can put that on the side and put your polisher in there instead. So that's the detailer's helper. A couple of things that we kind of want to talk through. First of all, we did a comparison. A lot of people will do some pushback on, well, I use a cart, it's fast enough, and all that kind of stuff. So I wanted to prove whether or not that was true. So what I ended up doing is I took my car, which is a small 65 Cobra replica, polished half of it with a cart only and half of it with a detailer's helper on and a cart. So I went back and forth a couple of times, and the data actually was kind of crazy for me. It saved about 42% on the total time it took me to do it. And then it saved 66 trips to the cart. So if you're thinking about doing, bigger vehicles, this is a small vehicle. It's it's only 13 feet long. It's a very small car. So those numbers get pretty big when you're talking about SUVs, boats, that sort of thing. It saves time. There's no question that these belts save time. We've been around for 9 years. We've sold thousands of them. I like to do a little math for most people. So let's say that it doesn't save that much time, right? So let's say 5 minutes per detail. If you do 3 details a day, work 5 days a week, and you charge about $50 per detail, then that actually would equate to those 5 minutes to about $3,250 a year in extra income. So belt doesn't cost that much. It literally pays it for itself in about a week, maybe 2 or 3 details. So that's pretty easy. So yeah, that's the detailer's helper. It does its thing. We've been around for a while, so if you have any questions, let me know on that. It's, as I say, it's not, we're not curing cancer here. It's a pretty basic kind of tool, but we know it works. Once you start using it, like Tom said about his products, you didn't realize how much you needed it until you had it. So that's Detailer's Helper. I think I got a little bit more time. I want to talk about something for detailing that I put together from one of my other brands. I've got about 14 brands that I deal with that are my personal brands, one of which is Rugged Restore. And this is our particular off-road brand that we basically got a bunch of really good high-end detailing products, and we put them together under this brand. We're heavily involved in the off-road industry, so that gives us a chance to kind of highlight that. But out of that, we found a product called Barricade, which is a bed liner. It's water-based, super easy to use, perfect DIY type product. However, it occurred to me that in detailing, we're always looking for new and exciting add-ons to our services, whether it's tint or PPF or coatings, interiors, coatings on the inside, windows, glass repair, all of those things. And I know there's one out there that probably you guys are not thinking too much about, which is doing bed liners, undercoatings, fender coatings, those kind of services, which one of the reasons is because traditionally, if you go with one of the hot applied products, it costs about $5 to $8 grand to buy the equipment. It's super dirty, makes a huge mess. You've got to have a full-on air suit, body suit in order to apply it with a dedicated room in order to do it. It's just a mess. So that stuff is awesome. It works really well and it lasts a really long time. However, for most small shops, it's just not going to work. So while this is a great DIY product, it is a professional grade level product. It works really, really well. We've had it in our vehicles for 7 or 8 years. It works great. And so what I wanted to do is I thought, okay, so detailers could use this as an additional revenue source. So there's a slide that we can put up about this. And then if you go to ruggedrestore.com/detailing, you can kind of read through some of this math as well. It's pretty basic installation process. Clean the surface, basically sand it down, mask it. You could put plastic over the edge of the bed or somewhere like that. And literally all you have to do, these bottles are, as you recognize them, they look a little bit like a quart of oil. You literally are just going to put this in the bottle, screw it on, and you're ready to shoot. And so after you shoot it, you can adjust the spray to whatever you want. So if the customer wants a really thick layer of bed liner, you can make that. If you want a small orange peel, that kind of thing, you can do that. So that's a pretty cool little setting on this gun. And then when you're done with it, you literally take the gun, you rinse it out under water, you dry it, make sure all the junk is out of it, and then you're good to go for another thing. Let it dry hour to hour or two. I give it back to the customer, kind of like doing a coating, either hold it overnight or at the end of the day, so that they keep it in case it's not quite dry, depending on the humidity and the temperature and all that. But give them back probably either that evening or the next day. Easy to clean up, no problems, and then you can get that done. So here's some of the math with that I like to do. Probably takes less than a couple hours to do most. Let's talk truck beds first of all. Most truck beds take a little bit less than a couple hours. Product cost is about $120. The kit costs $160, but that includes the gun, and the gun lasts forever. So basically, we figure the product cost for a basic bed's about $120. It's 4 of these quarts. You bill that out about $600, and so depending on your area and all those things that come in with pricing, which saves about 50 to 75% for the customer. $50 an hour, you're still billing out at $400. You're still profiting about $400 for the job. So that's a pretty good, easy way to do it. If you've got new car customers where you're doing a full new car coating, you might be able to talk to them into doing an undercoating as well, especially if they live in the Salt Belt and those kind of areas. So you can get that done. And there's almost no prep. Just basically make sure it's clean, shoot everything underneath that you want to shoot, mask off, obviously, the stuff that you don't want to shoot, and then you're good to go. So that's the new car coating. So that is pretty much all of it. I kind of thought Levi was going to be here to ask me questions, so sorry if I just rambled for this entire time. But So
No, you've
there
been
we go.
doing great,
So,
Kevin. You've been doing great.
I ran through it quick because I know we're a little bit short on time. So happy to answer questions or go through anything that you think I missed, Dane.
No worries. No, I wanted to pull up Rad Garage here because he had a fun little comment saying it's amazing how many fortunes throughout history began with a sewing machine. So
That's true. Absolutely true. Yeah.
And then I had Scott here, had a good question. Can you buy extra pockets by themselves, which you were talking about there a little bit?
Oh, yeah. So the rack company carries the full belts. I carry the full belts, so they come in kits. But each one of these bags, basically, if you go to the website, detailershelper.com, you can see that there's just an add-on bag thing. So you can buy individual bags. If, say, you wear out one of your bags over time, you can replace it very easily. There's actually an upgrade path. If you've got a standard belt, you can buy this kit to make it into a black HD. I have this in pink also, in pink piping, in case
Nice.
there's anybody that likes pink. I won't say if there's any ladies out there that want pink because I'm supposed to be politically correct and all that.
Yeah, it
So
could
if you
be
like
anybody.
pink, or you're or if your shop has pink colors or whatever, we do have one that's pink piped as well. So
Yeah.
you can definitely do that. And I should have mentioned, if you go to detailershelper.com, we're also just going to match the 20% off coupon. So we've got it TRCMA is the coupon code, and then on Rugged Restore, it's the same thing. So we'll do
And
that.
that way-
So if you want to get some of this stuff to try, you can do that.
Perfect. And then I have Scott here also asking, is that spray gun from the Tire Shine demo a couple of weeks ago?
It probably is, because I gave one to Sydney has one, I know. And so this product was originally, this is kind of the backstory. You know, as a manufacturer, I'm supposed to say that we kind of went to the Amazon rainforest and met with a chemist.
It's a whole thing.
Who took some rare tree frog, and that's how we developed this product. That's not true. So we were sponsored by Opticoat way back in the day when Michelle, my wife, did her first rally. And so they were looking at releasing this product under their brand.
Mm-hmm.
So we sprayed it in the Jeep, and then it worked so well, it took me 2.5 years to get the manufacturer. So Opti pretty much abandoned it. They decided not to pursue it. And so I ended up getting the manufacturer to let us carry it. And this is the gun that came with that. And I believe this is the gun that Sydney uses for Tire Shine. Because it's fully adjustable.
Experience, it's incredibly tough. Like, it lasts.
Oh yeah. This thing is it's an Italian gun. So a lot of the cheapo bedliners that are out there you can buy on Amazon and stuff, they're selling you a one-shot kind of Chinese gun. Sure. This thing's made in Italy. It's designed to be fully adjustable, so I can spray it as thick splatter as I want or as thin, which I really like. And it fits perfectly in these bottles, so that makes it easy.
Levi,
but yeah, if you want to use it for Tire Shine, you can buy that separately too.
Levi just popped in the room and made sure he pointed out to me, he goes, I have that one. It's an amazing tool. Like, you won't regret getting one if you do. So definitely point.
Yeah, so you can go to ruggedrestore.com, and under the barricade page, there's the product. You just select the gun, and you can buy the gun separately if you don't want to use the barricade stuff. So,
no, that's great. And as far as the others, I actually had one. This one, kind of an oddball. Basically, the Montgomery's asking if you have anything for keeping patina looking good. So he doesn't want to clean stuff up. He just wants to maintain what's there, keep it, from getting worse, but not making it better either. Just wants it right where it's at.
I mean, if the clear coat is damaged, I know some of the, you can use some of the ceramic coatings. We carry a ceramic coating. G-Technic's awesome for that. All the ceramic coatings out there. I've done that with failed clear coat just to kind of give it a little bit of protection. It's not very effective. But if you want to keep your patina, you need to lightly scuff it and shoot it with clear. That's the
honest answer.
That's the only way to do it. That's the only way to do it. Right.
Otherwise, you're just making it harder on yourself, constantly battling, like trying to find that happy medium, or just letting it get worse.
Yeah, because you can't touch the paint, because you can't put a towel on it, because the patina quote, which is just not a fancy name for rust. The rust is going to capture everything. So.
No, as far as these go, I think a lot of people really, it's underrated what a tool belt can do for you, just in terms of the efficiency and everything. And what's cool is you've done the math. You've shown, actually, that it makes a difference. Because, like you said, there's a lot of people who go out there and they'll just have a cart or something and be like, oh, that's good enough. But sometimes there's places where rolling a cart around sucks. And just being able to wear a belt would be so much easier.
Well, and that's what I showed. Like, someone asked on my video, and you can see the video on the site. Someone asked, well, why didn't you just pull the cart around? Well, my paint on my Cobra has 3,500 hours into it, from paint, bodywork, all the way through coating. I'm not getting a cart anywhere near that car. Neither would I if it was a 101 or whatever. So I walk back and forth if I'm going to use a cart. And so whenever I did it without the belt, first of all, it's annoying as hell for me because I use a belt all the time. It was 66 trips that it took me to go back and forth. So even what I always say people about the cart, I'm not saying don't use one, but recognize that if I go from the car to the cart, like however many times, if that's a couple hundred times, that's going to add up. So why would you just not keep stuff here and be able to, just pull it out? So just be able to pull it out, do your thing, put it back in. So, and
usually you're doing things one task at a time too. You're not doing it all at once. So you don't need to carry everything on you when you're doing that all at once.
Correct. Yeah, so the mobile guys, I suggest basically, or the cart guys, just load and unload. So if I'm going to do, this is waterless. If I'm going to do waterless, I put the waterless in there and a couple of towels. I'll go do that. If I'm polishing, I put my polishing, my towels, my pads, all that stuff, my brush tool, and then I load that. So that's really good for mobile guys because then they're not setting anything down. The one thing people don't realize with setting these things on the ground is I call it incidental transfer. But if you set this thing on the ground and this is dirty, which I don't know any detail shops, the very many detail shops that the floor is perfectly clean.
When you go clean, nothing else.
Yeah, so you got that dirty, so you need to set that down. Even if you put your bottle down, the polished bottle, and then I go like this, you could get an incidental piece of dirt on your pad. Well, by putting it in your belt, it cleans it for you. Saves you a little bit of the pigtail all the way across the hood that you didn't notice until you get that thing. So
that's unfortunate.
Yeah, so there's, I've done it before, so I definitely know that. Oh, I wanted to show you real quick on the tool. So this is the cord wrangler, what we call a cord wrangler. You can use this as a towel too, but what it does is just a little piece of Velcro. Looks like this. Just opens and closes.
Okay.
So what it does is when you plug this in, you've got your cord plugged in. You put the cord through there, and then when you go to put it over your shoulder, it actually gives a different pivot point. So when you walk, it pivots here instead of here.
Nice.
So that just helps I keep it right behind me, and that just helps give it a different pivot point so the cord kind of stays where it is. Helps out with that too.
Yeah, because otherwise you end up wearing it like a hula hoop. So
that's right. Just wrap around your belly.
Well, I have Tony here with an interesting question, wondering, will Rugged Restore ever offer color tinted bed liner for those of us who are crazy and want to do our whole truck?
Funny you should ask.
Oh, look at that.
So let me say tintable, no, because trying to tint a water-based formula is pretty damn impossible. So we haven't figured out how to do that, or they haven't figured out how to do it, my manufacturer. But what we're going to do is we're going to release colors, and I should have them actually more color. Right now I've got black and gray, but I should in the next week or so have additional colors. So we've got white. This is like a dark army green and a couple different tans. That's what I have now. So that's like straight out of the bottle. However, one nice thing about this formula is that it's 100% paintable. So basically you can color match. If you want to shoot your truck bed the exact same color as your other one, a tintable is not going to get you an exact match. It's just, if you've ever done tinting like that, it's just a different product than paint. So it's going to have some variables in it. But with this stuff, literally, you spray it on, let it cure, and then you can shoot single stage right on top of it. That's the exact color of your pickup or whatever vehicle you want to do. So that's a big advantage of what we do. Thanks for asking that. I totally forgot to talk about that.
Yeah, that's a great one. Well, I also wanted to ask, so in that case, if it's paintable, does that mean it almost acts like a primer if you can just go straight on with paint, or do you need to prime it first? How's that work?
No, it doesn't have to be primed.
Okay.
And actually, you don't have to prime anything before you apply it either. Just clean it, scuff it, clean it again, and then shoot it on. And I use like a 220, 320 grit. Kind of depends on how bad it is. It doesn't have to be bare metal. And then the only time we suggest a primer is if you're shooting like a fender flare or something plastic that's flexible.
Okay.
And it's Ardex. There's a primer out there called Ardex that we've used in the past that works pretty well. But other than that, we don't prime it at all. So yeah, this is literally you shoot the bed liner, let it dry, and then shoot paint.
That's not bad at all. That's actually really easy. So that's really awesome. I was also going to say, Tony here asked, did he say he's matching the 20% off on Rugged Restore also?
Yeah, we'll do the 20% off on this stuff too. So we'll do, TRCMA on Rugged Restore on the coupon code, and it's Shopify. Both sites, both of our sites are Shopify, so it's the same. It's the same.
So you can pick and choose what you want to get. And funny enough, we're not too far apart from each other statewide, so wherever it's going, it'll get there about the same time, I bet.
That's right. Yeah. Sorry I didn't make it down. I got a little bit too much stuff to go on, even to go 7 hours down the road. So
no, we appreciate you making the time anyway. So thank you for that, Kevin.
Thank you for having me.
Well,
is there anything else?
I was going to say, are there any, let's say, just FAQs, some basic questions you're used to hearing from people that may not have been asked here, but something that you know somebody's probably itching to ask if they haven't already?
Well, I do want to, so our basic, sizing. So we got some smaller guys, some bigger guys. This standard size goes up to about 43, 44 inches.
Oh,
the standard belt the standard belt's Velcro, so it's all Velcro. The HD has a tactical belt, kind of a plastic clip belt. The production belt's also Velcro. We offer it in an easy kind of up large size to about 49 inches. Now, I wear mine on my hips, so I wear it kind of like a gunslinger. The girls typically wear them a little bit higher. When my wife wears hers, she wears hers a little bit higher, so you kind of have to measure and figure out what it is.
Sure.
Even if you're a little skinny guy like Nick Chapman, it will fit. I mean, we've seen 27, 28-inch waist people have those fit. If you do happen to be one of our larger guys, I do have some very limited amount, but I have some bigger belts than even that in all Velcro. So
nice.
If you want, those are available. So those kind of the 43 to 44 is kind of the standard, and then it goes up from there. And you just select that when you check out. I think you guys just carry, at the Rag Company, you guys carry the standard ones. That's easy for fulfillment.
Right,
but if you want the bigger one, you just order from us. So
sure. No, that's a great point. And I was going to say, totally kind of side note, but you had that little protective cover right over the belt buckle area on it. And that bit is really nice. Just, as a bigger guy, I appreciate not having just hard plastic constantly rubbing there. That's a nice little extra side bonus, I would say.
There you go. That's right.
For the bigger
a lot
fellas.
of people. So this is. It's machine washable. I didn't talk about that, but it's machine washable. You can throw it. This is basically the same material as jeans. So I've heard people say, "Oh, well, it'll scratch paint." I'm like, well, anything will scratch paint. So unless you're detailing naked, which I guess that's a whole business model in itself. But unless you're detailing naked, you are wearing something that could do it. But now here's the difference. What I see, you see this stuff all the time, right?
Yeah.
Guys walking around with their shorts. So this bottle will definitely scratch a car.
Yeah.
So, however, when you put it in here, you at least now have a protective soft cover that does it. I did want to also say, if you're going to buy one of those fancy Viper chairs, we've been talking to Alex and those guys about doing a cooperative thing with us. But this thing, when you sit, people ask about, how do you sit? So when you sit down, this just folds up like that. So I can get in and out of cars with this. I sit down on the ground. I can sit on a cart, my knees, crawl underneath an RV,
almost
whatever
like a kilt.
it is. So this, it moves with you, and it's soft, right? Like it's not heavy. This whole belt weighs 13 ounces without anything in it, obviously. So if you put, 5 quarts of something in there, it's going to be heavier, but it's designed to be ergonomic, so it doesn't weigh you down. I usually forget it's on it, and honestly, I use this for everything. It's so funny because I'm like, so I don't know if you recognize this. This is a gutter clip for Christmas lights.
Oh,
So-
geez. Yes, it is.
And I'm pretty sure in one of these pockets, I've got some wiring, some butt connectors for wiring. I've got drywall screws.
So not just
yeah,
for
you can use it
detailers,
for anything.
electricians, whoever. Yeah, you name it.
Yeah, we got a lot of mechanics that use it. You know, we have 4 different brands and 4 different industries under the Helper brand. So we do a lot in janitorial.
Oh,
I've got a
okay, yeah.
consumer version. I've got the kids version. We did a private label for SC Johnson, the Windex company, because they needed to do a product they use them to clean large stadiums. So that's kind of that efficiency thing also. So a lot of different uses for this or any of the others.
Well, thanks again, Kevin, for being here. Really appreciated you taking your time. Even though you couldn't make it down here, you had a great presentation anyway. So thank you for that. And if people are looking for the products there, just go ahead and remind them one more time where they can find you, social media, website, etc.
Yeah, detailershelper.com, ruggederstore.com. Facebook is Detailers Helper or Ruggeder Store, at Detailers Helper, at Ruggeder Store. Instagram is at Detailers Helper Official, and then at Ruggeder Store. And I think we're on TikTok and all those others. I've got, I think the last count was 42 different social media accounts, so
Jeez.
it's getting a little out of hand.
We'll stick to the basics here. We'll stick to the basics here.
There you go. Yeah.
All right. Thank you again,
that's,
Kevin.
basically just look for Detailers Helper. All right. You guys
Will
have a
do.
good day. I appreciate it. And looking forward to see what Rupes has to offer.
Yes, sir. That's what's coming up next year. So why don't we kick it over to Rupes, see what's going on over there.
All right, so we're wrapping up day 3 with an extra special presentation from our friends at Rupes USA. So joining me, I have Dylan Von Kleist, I have Jason Rose, the legends, right in front of me. This is amazing. I can't wait. Are you guys excited?
It's best for last, right?
Best for last, right?
Best for last on this day.
They say in the old, the bodybuilding term was last set, best set, right?
Yes.
Right.
Let's really just let's crush it.
Crush, yeah, I like
on
it.
a high note.
So with that said, right, earlier today, right, we kind of announced an extra special gift that not only, you guys were doing what we were doing as well. And what is that? Dylan, talk to me.
So this is our ultra-fine DA trial kit. So there is a liter of Uno Pure, 2 150 millimeter white foam pads, so you run them on your LHR 15.
Yeah.
Comes with a microfiber towel and a big foot claw pad tool in here. So it's like $70 worth of stuff. And so everybody that spends more than $75 on the rag company today is getting one of these in their shipment for free.
Okay. While supplies last.
While supplies last. Now here is the catch.
Okay.
We're running out of time because I just got the whisper in my ear. It says we've got probably 10 left.
Oh, good. All right.
So you might want to get on and order something like real quick because this is going to be gone soon.
Wait, so I'm taking that one home though, right?
Oh, I think it's got your name written right on it.
No, it doesn't actually say that at all. So wishful thinking, right? So, anyways, this is gonna be a fantastic. Seriously, this is gonna be a fantastic set. You guys are really gonna like this a lot and learn from it as well because you have 2 of the best in the industry under one roof, which is just amazing. And so you guys are gonna do a much better job of presenting the Rupes line than I could do. So with that said, I'm gonna step out of here. I'm gonna let the pros do the work, and I'm gonna watch from behind the camera. All right.
We'll call you if we need you.
Thanks,
Have
Anthony.
fun.
Appreciate you.
So I am very excited. So we wanted to get a new product. The last time I was out, I came out on the first TRCMA. We presented the DA system, so the compounds and the pads, the new pads came out. They weren't introduced at TRCMA, but they're relatively new. Well, this is the very first time that our new DA microfiber pads are going to be shown. The very first time. They've not been shown
anywhere in the world.
Anywhere in the world. Yeah. It's basically Rupes employees and distributors are the only ones aware of this now, so this is exclusive for TRCMA. And so because I've got a much bigger technical brain here to support me today, I'm going to let Jason dive into what makes these pads unique.
Well, like many of you might be aware, there's 3 major categories in polishing pads. There's, foam stuff out there, and there's wool, but microfiber is the third. It was initially introduced in around 2010, but here is what we hope is leapfrogging technology, and this is our latest technology applied to the category of microfiber pads. And because one pad is not going to solve all the challenges, one pad won't address all the differences in paint hardness, so there is our 3 choices here, our blue version, our yellow version, and our white version. There are differences in aggressiveness level. They all finish really well.
I think it's probably important to note too, so these are all cutters, right?
Yeah.
So even the white, which is typically an ultra-fine in our line, so our white foam is very, very fine finishing, right? This is a white microfiber, so maybe talk a little bit to the fact that even though that is our white microfiber pad, it's still got some teeth, it'll cut.
That's right, and even within the pad options here, the white and the yellow and the blue, there's differences in aggressive level, but within the whole pad offering by Rupes, there's differences in aggression from foam to wool to microfiber. And as you mentioned, these are all positioned for harder paint, severe defects, lots of defects to go after with these pads. And
so this is, I'm gonna just pick it up because I want to hold it. So this is probably the most aggressive cutting microfiber I think I've used. This isn't just extra cut. We've labeled this one extreme cut. So maybe talk what makes this our extreme cut pad. You're the master. You're the product development guy. You tell me.
Well, it's a team of people, not just me. But so this is positioned as extreme, and it's because of its design. The foam interface is very firm, and it's meant to apply a lot of that tool energy directly to the paint surface. And the microfiber filaments, individual filaments, and the density across this pad is all tuned for harder surfaces and lots of defects or even deeper defects in a spot repair scenario.
To the degree even we've been testing this, we've used it to polish things like glass, like hard surface countertops, like Corian countertops in a house. This has got enough teeth to actually polish something that hard.
Stone and marble, anything that's flat and hard, this pad would do tremendously well.
Yeah, let's keep working our way up, right? So let's talk about the yellow then. So the yellow gets a little bit softer interface, right? It's a little bit more give, it's a little bit taller, but you want to talk about this one a little bit and give them so why is this our fine?
Yeah, so it's labeled fine, but like you said earlier, Dylan, this is really a cutter. All of these are cutting pads, but within that context of these microfiber pads, this is the mid-range, it's considered fine, but when you pair it with our DA coarse or our DA fine liquids, it really goes after defects in a quick way, especially on hard paint. So remember, this is a pad that you're generally going to reach for if you're in that hard paint scenario.
It's probably my favorite of the 3. I think the one I've probably used the most and seen the broadest range of application.
Now the suspension system built in on this pad, I don't know if you can see on the camera there, but it's actually softer and it's meant to give through those contours on different, varied shapes and
like this Audi.
Yeah, like this Audi would be fantastic. So the pad is actually made to handle those contours and curves, and it's designed to float and get into there in a way that the blue pad is probably too firm to do.
Yep. And then we kind of already talked about, so the white then becomes, and we can hold this one up just so we can show everybody, but this is now the tallest of them, and then obviously the softest foam. And we kind of already talked about this. This one is still a cutter, regardless of the fact it says ultra fine. It's still, I've seen it take out some pretty serious defects.
Yeah.
But it's interesting because you can pair this with something like Uno Protect or Uno Pure even, which is an ultra fine polish. And this then does the heavy lifting for you. So you can actually push a finishing polish to be more of an aggressive cutter, and then you still get the finish quality out of it. So this one's fun to play with, and it's got its unique applications.
Now you said this was your favorite combo. Now this one has really surprised me every time that I use it. It's just absolutely amazing. And when you think of pairing it with a ultra-fine polish, you would think it's going to be mild, but man, the combo really goes for it. And especially on harder surfaces, and you want that extra refinement, it finishes like a foam pad. I mean, it's absolutely amazing. And with the Uno Pure combined, I mean, you could use any of these liquids with this pad, but when you combine the ultrafine microfiber with the Uno Pure, it has amazed me every time I've done it on, you know, black, non-metallic paints. Just the incredible finish is really remarkable.
Yep. So Dane, I'll open up a little bit because I'm sure I'll start talking, but if there's any questions, we'll take them now. But
sure.
So these will, just to answer a question I know is probably coming. So these are actually currently being manufactured at this exact second in Italy.
So you mean like this question right
exactly.
here?
I knew it was coming, right? So and there's another good question in there too about the wool. But so as far as availability, these are in production right now. We pushed up the announcement specifically for TRCMA. We wanted to show you guys and give you a sneak peek into something new, interesting that's coming.
Yeah.
They are in production now. They should be arriving in some limited quantities, probably as early as April in the US, and then we will be full scale shipment by June. We will be sending them out to distributors, so you'll be able to get your hands on them as early as April, May, and then definitely by June. And then we will actually start producing these in our Houston facility in the US in some months, so they'll actually be an American-made version as well. Identical specs and everything, obviously, just sourced here. And so there was the comparison to wool. Do you want to dive into, comparing these to our wool, our very popular wool pads?
Yeah, so many of you know our DA wool pads, and they're also outstanding performers. You and I have been developing products for many years, and our offering right now is pretty rock star.
Yeah.
I think we have some great stuff, and these have been the favorites for many people. And we're not trying to trump these. We're not trying to replace these. There is a place for these. So if you think of, foam products, and you imagine the positioning on the foam is for, more delicate finishes, maybe fresh paint, medium to light hardness, things like that. But our wool pads have the biggest range on cut and finish of actually any pads that I've ever used. So this is a great, daily, everyday use of a pad. And then the microfiber pads can be positioned strictly for that harder surface, where you really need a little more aggression.
Everybody runs into one every once in a while. So the Audi rental we used as our kind of play car. We decided we were going to use it as a demo because the paint on this thing is rock hard. Now, we didn't test the wool on it, but I would venture to guess that this is probably going to struggle to get through some of the deeper defects on this really hard paint. But the microfiber actually made short work of it. So everybody encounters these. If you're a detailer, you run into hard and soft paint. It seems more lately it's on both ends of the spectrum. You never really get anything in the middle anymore. It's either really, really soupy soft or crazy rock hard. So these become your solution for when you run into those hard paints.
Yeah. Well, I got Rad Garage here saying, let me pull it up here again. I've been loving the wool Rupes, but I'm always up to try out a new system. It's only money, right?
Hey, you know what? When somebody asked me if I need all these, I said, not only do you need all of them, you need at least 2.
Wow, see? That's it right there. And next up, I've got Goatee Taylor Go. Is Rupes Pure meant more for a jeweling step to be used in conjunction with a soft finishing pad?
It can be, and Jason can probably speak to it more than I can even, but it's really versatile because it's an ultra fine. So I like to refer, I don't like magic bullet products. I don't like any company that says, yes, you just need this one product and it will solve all your problems, right?
Sure.
Because there's too many variables. This is kind of the exception where I would say that's true. That product, Uno Pure, with our DA white foam on a 15 or 21 or a Duetto, on soft haze chrome paint, so everybody complains about GM black, like newer GM black being very difficult to finish.
Struggling.
That's a magic bullet product. It really, really does help you finish on those really, really difficult ones. But I mentioned earlier, you can throw that stuff on the white microfiber pad and actually push it to get some cut.
Well, another intention for the Uno Pure is those of you that are applying paint coatings, ceramic coatings, and things like that. Just in the name Uno Pure, it speaks to the core competency of that product, which is to refine and ultrafine the finish without leaving any solids or anything left behind. So when you wipe that residue, it's as clean can be on that paint, and that makes it a good preparatory step before paint coatings and things like that.
Yep.
Okay. Well, next up I've got here, let's see. Oh, here's a question. Kirby Thompson asking, are these produced in Houston or Italy?
So in Italy currently, so the first batches will be coming out of Italy. The raw materials to manufacture these in Houston is in transit to Houston. So at some point this year, they will actually start production in Houston, and then all the stuff that's shipped within North America will come out of there, and globally, everything else will come out of Italy. So all of our pads currently are produced in both locations. That's the goal.
Okay.
And so we're trying to produce them as close to where, and with the exact same equipment, exact same specs, exact same materials, all that stuff. So it just is, this is such a new product. It was able to start production in Italy before we could get the raw material here to start making them. But eventually they'll be in Houston as well.
In
Yeah,
addition,
people
our
getting them
tools,
here.
You know,
Oh, go
our
ahead.
polishers are made both in Italy and, you know,
Colorado.
in the U.S.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and we're actually really proud of this, and it's an awesome thing for us. You know, in Italian engineering made in USA, we're creating jobs here. We're really excited about our Houston facility.
Yep.
No, that's excellent. And I've got Andre here, just, you know, kissing your butts a little bit, I guess, right? Thank you, Dylan and Jason, for great products and how well you take care of your customers.
Thank you so much,
That's
Andre.
that's a
Appreciate
happy
you.
customer right there.
Yeah,
We try very much to keep you guys happy and engaged with us. So we appreciate that. That's awesome. Well, if we have more questions, cool.
Oh, there are actually a number of them. it's what happens.
coming, man.
I don't want
Keep
to
'em
slow you
coming.
down or anything.
No,
I'll throw
please.
in like 3 more, and then we can kind of get rolling. So this one here is Paul. Paul's just saying, I'll touch the paint after cutting. Some get hot and some are cool. Why is that? The pad feels the same as paint.
So the pad and the paint get
I think
hot,
it means
but
temperature-wise.
temperature-wise, some
yeah.
get hot and some don't.
Yeah. Oh,
It's surface drag. Some paints are grabbier than others. Some pads are grabbier than others. So if you ignore the ambient conditions, you're not like outside on a summer day in direct sun on a black car.
Sure.
Like microfiber generates more heat than other materials. Some
Yeah, there's a
paints are
surface
draggier.
area
Yeah.
thing, yeah.
The amount of compound, even if you don't have as much compound on one pass and you have more on another, compound is a lubricant, so it helps move the pad around with less friction, essentially. So it can actually have a cooling effect. If you overload, it can actually cause overheating. So there's all these things at play. Detailing is a weird set of just infinite variables that are always screwing with you.
Oh, of course.
Being a detailer is really just kind of a masochistic kind of job because you're just basically going to get beat up every turn because everything's changing at all times and you just can't ever just do the same thing on every car because it doesn't come out the same.
well, the other thing is the paint itself. You know, a lot of people can understand that there's a variable about paint hardness. It could be soft and hard, and we can kind of get our minds around that part. But there's lots of other paint variables, and one of them is the porosity. At the microscopic level, paint could have bigger pores. It's actually a structure that's made to be flexible, because if you think, you know, the car gets hot and cold and the metal substrates expand and contract and the paint has to go with it, right? So that porosity combined with the surface area of the pads and compounds you're working with, that could affect that pad drag and the surface temperature.
Yep.
Yeah.
I see it. We got another question,
Well,
Dane. Do
so-
we want heat?
Do you want
Generally, no.
Yeah, that's a misconception. There's old school thought that thinks that if you're not generating heat, you can't correct paint, and it's really not true. Heat is actually an unwanted byproduct of polishing.
That's old
Polishing is-
school for like lacquer-based paints and stuff,
Yeah,
right?
old. I mean,
yeah.
there's a
Lacquer,
point in
acrylic
time,
enamel,
old school single stage nitrocellulose lacquer paints.
Yeah.
Yes, heat helped. But on catalyzed clear coats, your modern paint systems, you're not going to return it to a liquid. Heat doesn't really help you anyways. It causes paint swell, it causes compounds to dry out, it causes pads to lose their effectiveness. All kinds of things go wrong. So if there were a way to polish without heat, we would.
We would do it. We would totally do it. 'cause,
Unfortunately, we live in the physical universe. So
the reality of abrasion and removing defects on these surfaces is you get, with the friction, you get the heat. And we would love to do it, like you said, without the heat, but I'll figure it out eventually someday.
one of these days,
Well,
we'll figure it
why
out.
don't you guys go ahead and get started, and I'll start throwing questions at you once you've gotten moving a little bit.
Yeah, I
because we
think
don't
what
want to
we're
just
gonna
make
do-
you stand there the whole time.
So I think that we're going to put it to the test first. I want to push these pads to their limit. So we have you guys provided us graciously with probably the ugliest, worst hood I think ever on the history of TRCMA. So I am going to put
Poor
Jason.
Celica.
Yeah, that poor Celica. So Jason, I think, is going to do a spot, but we are going to show you guys. We'll use, because this thing is hammered. We are going to use the most aggressive cutter. We're going to use our new Extreme Cut microfiber pad with DA course, and we're going to show you exactly how much of this we can get out. And this thing is bad. It's also single stage, so it's going to load really quick. But I'm far too pretty to work this hard, so I'm going to make Jason do it.
So one thing to realize during the application of our new microfiber pads is when they're brand new, cool, out of the bag, out of the box, we need to prime these. Like with all of our pads, proper priming is really, really important. And all pads, priming is super important, but with microfiber, it's like even more important. Microfiber filaments, the way they work is they grab and hold things. And if we did 4 dots of compound, and then we did a whole side of a car, we would have 4 dots of compound on a pad. That's how that works. So we actually have to force prime this. We're going to put some product on here. And the pattern or dots or circles or X's, whatever you want to do, it doesn't really matter what you put on here. You're going to take some kind of a spreader like a spatula or a paint spreader, thing like that. You're going to spread this compound. The goal is to get the compound on all sides of the fibers. That's the goal of the priming. So you can actually rub this on the paint. If you don't have a spreader, you can rub it on the paint manually. Don't turn the tool on. You can just rub it back and forth like this. And do that a few times, and you can see that the product has begun to spread all over the fibers. And then you may want to do a reload after that, kind of focus on those areas that are less primed. And then we will do our application. So we're going to kick this up between 3 and 4. Do some side-by-side passes, but I don't know if the camera can pick this up, but this is really, really oxidized.
It'll see it after you're done, I'm sure.
Chalky, chalky.
Chalky, chalky, chalky. So one thing I want to just point out about single stage, and you know, we're going to find out if we get this color on our pad, but this is very likely oxidized single stage. And the thing about that for training purposes, or for even any of you that are polishing cars, if you're polishing on clear coat, you don't get to see the residue that is loaded up on the pad.
It's clear.
Because it's clear. But this is a fabulous opportunity, this single stage, because you will actually see the paint load. If you're removing defects, if you're removing oxidation, that's going to get loaded on the pad. And then that speaks to the need to keep the pad clean frequently. So let's just
go for it.
I can feel the pad bend. So we want to do about 30 to 40 seconds of polishing, and look at that. Ooh.
Yeah, that's definitely single stage.
I'm not an expert, but
that pad was white when we started, I'm pretty sure. I got a good look at it, so.
So what's interesting here is, you know, clear coat does oxidize and clear coat does scratch, and when you're removing those defects, you're actually loading up a pad like this. So it's quite amazing.
I'm going to pull our blow gun over because we're going to need that for this thing.
So we'll wipe this residue off. The residue should wipe clean and easy. If you have to sit there and scrub, then you probably over-cycled the product and heated it up too much, but this was an easy wipe off. We can actually see all this oxidation, scratches, and defects, and then it quickly in one step got this cleaned up. And I'm really looking at some fully refined paint. This to me, Dylan, is wax ready, sealant ready, coating ready. This is amazing in one step.
Yeah, and that is again the most aggressive cutter we have, the most aggressive cutting compound and our most aggressive pad now. And it not only removed the oxidation, but it left it, I would say that's ready for protection. I mean, it's not going to get any better. So
that was race car red in an instant.
That's pretty impressive. I want to see the rest of the silica if it still exists and try and clean it up.
So to clean this, Dylan will show you what's going on.
Yeah. So this is to Jason's point. We talked about this. Clear coat is your pads are loading if you're working on clear coat or you're working on single stage. But this is a good visual because now we know. Okay, that's an indication we got a lot of pad load. If I was to take this from Jason and try and do another pass, I'm going to see a drop off in performance. I'm going to see, I might not get the same amount of cut. I'm definitely not going to get the same amount of finish. I'm going to have kind of an awkward or weird feeling application process. So we're just going to use a blowgun. You can use a vacuum in your garage. A shop vac with a crevice tool works, but blowing the pads out is the most effective way. Leave it on the tool.
Now the pigment will still be in the fibers because, like I said, microfiber grabs and holds, but all the residue, the compound residue, paint residue, you have effectively cleaned it. Now that pigment will still be in there, but it's clean and ready to go for the next step.
There we go. And so of all the pads, all the pad materials, I should say, ours, anybody's, your microfiber, I think you agree with me, is you have to blow it out. There's just not another option because brushes aren't going to dislodge the residues. It's just, it might take some of the stuff off the top, but the stuff that's really lodged in there isn't coming out. So if you're running microfiber, you pretty much have to be using compressed air to clean.
Yeah, actually foam and wool, you can get away with other methods like brushes and other pad washers and things, but when you select microfiber, because the filament grabs and holds things, you have to have that method of pad cleaning. You really do.
Yep. Dane, any questions while we're working?
Oh, well, you know, I'm building up like a boatload of them here on the back end because anytime you're polishing in a video, it's instantly the eyes are just glued to it. So, yeah, that tends to do that.
It's not my rugged good looks and epic beard that keeps me glued to the.
Maybe it's that they haven't really mentioned, but
nobody
brought it up.
Massage my ego, Dane, please.
It's clearly Jason Rose. I heard Rose Gold is in the room.
That is the opposite of massaging his ego. Right there.
This would be the last TRCMA I'm ever a part of.
Well, Shad here. We already kind of answered this, but go ahead and answer for him again. He's just wondering when the new pads will be available.
New pads will be available as early as late April, early May, in that range, in small quantities, and then full scale shipping to everybody by June. So we're only a matter of weeks to months away from the very first shipments hitting, and then by June, you'll be able to find them at any authorized Rupes distributor, like a guy like Shad, who works for Budco in Utah.
Imagine that. Well, and then I got another one here for you. Probably one of your favorite questions you love to receive from people because it just never fails, right? Whenever you come out with something, people are like, yeah, but what's next? So, of course, is there Rupes Mark IV in production?
I swear I've been answering this question for a while. So here's what I will say. We don't comment on product development because too many people out there trying to copy our stuff.
Stuff changes too.
And stuff changes. But I think there's 5, 6 different products in addition to this one that are all in various stages of ready that are almost a sure thing to launch before SEMA, and if not by SEMA. And then there's even additional things coming at SEMA. We're going to probably have one of our biggest, busiest, most new product laden SEMAs ever. We got 2 years of pent up releases. We've been sitting on stuff since the end of 2019, man. So while I won't say specifically what any of them is, there's a whole lot of stuff in the pipeline and a lot of cool stuff.
So you probably won't like this next question then either, because we got questions about cordless polishers, all this stuff.
Yeah, I can't comment on in development stuff, but just stay tuned. SEMA is shockingly not that far away. I've actually booked our booth last week, so we're already in that stage. So it will be here before we know it.
If you can be a little bit patient with us, it'll be worth the wait.
Yeah, I promise you it'll be worth the wait.
Well, I like the sound of that. Then we got Andrew here saying, can you use all of them on RVs and boats? I assume he means the pads you were referring to earlier.
Excellent question.
Yeah, this is a great question, and I really appreciate this question because we had intended fully to try and get the new microfiber pads to work on gel coat, but the validation process that we went through, although it works fabulous on hard automotive paint, and it works incredibly well on hard surfaces and glass and Corian and things, gel coat is the one surface that we're going to say go to wool.
Yeah.
And it's interesting, the technology of why we validated this way on gel coat is microfiber actually works too fast and too good on gel coat. And it'll rip off oxidation like within seconds in your very first pass, and then it doesn't work after that. So once that's loaded with gel coat material, the performance takes an instant deep dive. So we're going to recommend our DA wool pads for that.
Wool is still the king, regardless if you're using rotary or random orbital on a boat. Wool's always going to be the way to go. Microfiber just doesn't. You're going to have to probably blow out. You don't even get a full pass done. You've got to be blowing out to get the gel coat residue out. It's just it's a rapid loading material, and there's also frictional and heat issues that go into that as well. So.
Now, another caveat to Andrew's question here, because he asked about RVs and boats, not specifically gel coat. So there are boats and RVs that have a base coat, clear coat system applied to them. So it's similar to automotive paint. And in that situation, go for it.
Yep.
Use a microfiber.
Yep.
Okay.
But you got to know which ones those are. They won't tell you. You got to find out for yourself.
Yeah. And then I got Dino here. Is the old Rupes green pad still in production? They were awesome.
No, when we switched over to the new DA foam pads, the green went away, and because frankly it didn't offer anything in the range. We tested extensively, and trust me, we didn't want to do away with the pad that people were buying, but it bridged a gap in the old system between the blue and the yellow. There was a big gap between what those did, so we needed something in the middle for that in between. The range of performance on the new stuff, the new liquids and the new foams and the wool and all that stuff, it just doesn't justify its own existence. And we're not a company that produces products just for the sake of producing them. There's tons of companies out there that produce 50 different things in one category, soaps or 10 pads that do the same thing. We're trying to keep it as simple as possible, and if there's a product in there that could be displaced or improved upon by something else, we won't keep it in. So,
well, I do have some good news for Dino though. If you love that green pad, here's the reality of what we did with our new blue. So this is the new one that we launched
August of 2020.
2 years ago, yeah. So we understood that performance range that the green pad delivered and our previous blue pad. Now this pad, this foam has been validated to cover that full range. So those users that like the old blue foam and like the old green foam, this blue foam, the new one, covers that entire range on capability and cut and finish. So if you like that green one, you should really try this new blue.
Yeah, and I'd also say that if you haven't switched over to our yellow wool, that's another option that can do the same amount of cutting, and I would even say finishes better than the green foam ever did. So you've got, we don't want to have a lot of overlap. This products for the sake of products isn't what we do. So trying to solve as many problems with as few products as possible is kind of what we're all about. So.
Okay. Well, JTM follows up. He's like, you don't have to comment on this one. He's just trying to throw an idea out there. He's saying, please make the Mark IV, if it happens, 21 5-inch compatible. You don't have to comment on this.
Okay. Well, here's the good news. I'm not going to comment on this.
There's the answer everybody was looking for. Followed by Tom asking, will there be options for the Nano?
In the microfiber pads, I'm assuming not officially yet. We've heard that from the people who are involved in testing that they want to see them in the 70 and the 40 millimeter for the Nano. I don't doubt that we'll eventually get there. We're starting with the ones that are the highest volume first, the key ones.
Of course, yeah.
Based on user feedback. So keep, if you think you'd use a lot of them, keep sending us that feedback, and we'll definitely. It's one of those projects that's in consideration, I would say. Okay.
Well, I have several more, but I'll just ask one more, and then you guys can get back to doing what you do.
Yep.
I'm just going to pull up here. D-Man Forest 4 saying, I'm new and looking to get started with polishing. How do I find the hardness of a paint? Which is it's a popular thing that everybody talks about, but nobody really talks about why you can tell one versus the other except for doing it.
Yeah, I've even said recently we're guilty of, we talk in trainings and events like this about hard and soft paint, and if you're not familiar, that's probably like, well, how do I know? Like, does it tell me on the inside of my door panel? Yeah, the only way to know is the test spot. That's really it. And you want to speak to the results of the test spot?
Yeah, so in our product offering, the test spot would be our yellow combo, and it would be any one of these yellow combo situations here. Generally, we would do our yellow wool because that's in the mid-range. So test spot, you take this combo, apply it to a car. There's one of 3 outcomes. Outcome number 1 is exactly what you hope for.
Wouldn't that be great if that happened every time?
Paint's good, shiny, it's wax ready. If you get that in your test spot, then
you should keep doing that.
Yeah, do that over the whole car.
Repeat that process over and over again.
So outcome number 2 on a test spot when you apply this combo is you could learn right away by the response of defects that paint is hard or soft. So one scenario is you remove all the defects very quickly, like in a few passes in your test spot, you realize these scratches are coming out really fast. However, you might have like a haze mark or a pad mark, And that's your indicator that that paint is probably on the soft side. So if you're ripping out defects fast and you leave a haze mark, that's soft paint. The other outcome, the third outcome could be that you're on hard paint, and that it means that your test spot, you may not remove all of the target defects. You might only get half of them out.
Yeah, you get shiny scratches.
Yeah, you get shiny scratches, and then it's like, okay, I'm on the harder side of paint, and that's how you know hard and soft. Another way to know hard and soft paint is if you're wiping with microfiber towels and you're scratching with a microfiber towel, then you're really on soft paint.
A quality microfiber towel from a reputable vendor like the Rag.
Yeah, no, if it's just some like gas station microfiber towel, chances are.
Pick it up with a box of day-old sushi, and some microfiber towels, and some cheap sunglasses.
All of equal quality.
Yeah.
But that's how you really know hardness on paint, is you do that test spot. A lot of detailers, you know, professionally, that are doing cars every day, they skip that test spot because they get in a groove, in a very comfort zone with a combo.
Sure,
they hit that
sure.
with every car. Those are the kind of professionals that, in my view, I end up seeing them doing two-stepping on cars all the time.
That they probably could have done in one if they
Yeah,
just
if they
open
would
to
take the
adjusting.
time to do a test
Yeah.
spot. And a proper test spot might actually be 2 or 3 test spots where you're dialing in the right compound and pad for that particular paint.
Because it's
Now-
not always the same. From panel
No.
to panel, you can have quite a variety.
Yeah, absolutely. A collision repair, you know, you'll have 2 different paints on that car. We did a test spot on the back deck lid of this Audi yesterday, and it was 2 or 3 applications before we dialed in, you know, the right combo.
Yep. The fine.
Spoiler alert, it's hard.
It's really hard.
hard.
Yeah, really hard paint.
So, guys, why don't you go ahead and get back to what you're doing there? I'll save up a few more questions, and we'll roll them out next, maybe in like
Yeah.
5 minutes or something
This
here.
is fun. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? Let's try a different combo over here. I am going to see what I can do. I am going to make my life harder. I am going to take a smaller orbit tool, the Duetto LHR12. I'm going to take the ultrafine microfiber pad, and I'm just going to do a spot next to Jason on that oxidized hood because I am just curious how far I can push our ultrafine finish. I think we ended up doing this last year at TRCMA. We ended up with a bunch of weird combos, and it's just fun because detailers are a bunch of weirdos that just want to see what they can do. You know,
Yeah.
oh, can this do that? Can this do that? Well, I'm going to go and beat everybody to the punch.
Well, I can tell you that when I do this combo, I'm surprised at the performance almost every
that's-
time I do this. It's amazing.
I'd like to be surprised. Mr. Rose, can I ask you to be my bottle holder?
Your Vanna.
Well loaded there.
30 years of polishing, and this is what I do. I hold Dylan's bottle.
all the respect. Got more time in it than I do. Just a way of saying you're old. I get it primed up first. Hey, look, pink pads.
Ooh.
Gotta get a drop on there. I think it's probably
course.
gonna need like a drop to do this area. That's probably good. So jump up to speed 3. Let's see what I can get out of an ultrafine on the world's most oxidized hood. Now the expectation should not be perfect. If it is, I'm really good. If it's not, I blame Jason.
Well, you took the least aggressive combo we have.
Still some chalky
A little bit
oxidation
of
there.
oxidation in
Yep.
there. So
So it didn't have enough, and you notice, now we can show this, right? So that is
here,
versus the
okay.
original pad. So
Which
this is
we-
an excellent visual.
we've
So-
already cleaned it, but you
Cleaned.
can see that by the pigment
So
density.
that's telling you the rate of material removal, right?
Yeah.
You used the most aggressive pad and an aggressive compound, so it pulled off paint faster. So the load is more dramatic. This is the thing you don't see with clear coat, right? You just see a pad, right?
I
I
bet the
did the-
yellow combo would do pretty good
Yeah.
on this.
I do the exact same application process, a less aggressive tool, a less aggressive pad, a less aggressive compound. I don't get a dark red pad. I get a pink pad. And so that is a very clear indication that this isn't pulling off material. And it shouldn't, right? It's not pulling off material as fast. So this is a good visual for all you guys out there that are wondering about pad load. That is perfect. It made pink, not red. His pad that was dark red when you were done. I could only get light pink. So
hey, one thing I would ask you to do real quick is blow that pad for like 5 seconds and then do 2 more passes on here.
Okay.
I would really like to see the. So without adding any more product, just do a couple quick passes. I really want
2
to
passes?
see.
Got
This
it.
is what we learned on gel code here. Yeah, let's see what that did. Yeah, so it
pulled up some of
really
that chalky
cleaned up.
residue now.
Yeah.
So I'm not cutting out defects, but I made a nice shiny spot.
But it's a visual indication of what we were talking about, how quickly microfiber loads up, and then once it loads, the performance,
Drops off
significantly
completely.
drops.
Yep.
But there you go. Here's a difference from our most aggressive combo to our least aggressive combo.
On the most trashed hood. I didn't tell them, hey guys, I want a challenge. They just go, hey, we got this hood, and here it is. And after I woke up because I passed out, blacked out, I cried a little bit, and I said, you know what, we'll try. We'll see what we can do.
This is pretty oxidized.
This is good, but I like a challenge. This is fun. So that is most aggressive, least aggressive, an excellent visual thing for you guys to kind of wrap your heads around. So now think about that in terms of clear coat, right? You're polishing on clear coat. You're not seeing a difference in shades of red, but you have to visualize. As you get more aggressive, the more stuff you're pulling off, the faster your pad is loading.
So this is an example of severe oxidation, but on this car we have the really hard paint that we validated through a test pot yesterday.
You want to hit that one now? We can do hard paint with that guy. While we're over here, let's see. I think maybe, should we make the announcement now? I think we should make the announcement now. Are we ready for the announcement? Could we air the commercial before I make the announcement?
Yes.
Let's do it.
One of the things that really stood out about Rupes, especially with Dylan being there, really helped facilitate sort of a collaborative spirit. It always feels freeing, and there's just a spirit that I think really stands out.
The Rupes system works all the way across for every single individual.
I feel like Rupes has absolutely stepped up its game in creating products, and I like seeing the Rupes products get in the hands of enthusiasts around the world.
Uno Protect was really one of the first big advancements in the technology of detailing, similar to the original 21 when it came out, to where it was like, oh, this makes your life easier. This makes you as a detailer much faster, much quicker, and it's going to make you more money.
I would say that the LHR 15, the Mark II or the Mark III, has to be my favorite go-to tool. It's kind of hard to beat. I feel like that we have the reliability, we have the dependability of their customer service, and we also have quality products. I mean, I couldn't expect anything better.
Who's that?
Oh my God!
Who's that handsome guy in those videos? Holy cow!
He looks much younger.
Yeah, he does. He looks like it happened a while ago.
So, thank you for stepping in, because you need your perspective on this as well. I think it's kind of a big deal.
It is a big deal.
I'm going to share the news. I'm going to share.
Okay, go for it.
So you guys have been selling our consumables, our pads and compounds for a while.
Yes, and we love them.
You've been one of the biggest fans of Uno Protect and Yellow Wool pads on earth. I think he actually has a tattoo of it somewhere. Can't mention where it's at. But we are excited to announce that the Rag Company is finally going to start stocking Rupes tools, and I believe they're actually on the site right now.
Right now, you can pick up the 15 Mark III. You can pick up the LHR 75E. And I believe the Hybrid Nano long neck kits available. So
you guys have been, I swear, every time I'm on a video or there's the comments on YouTube, there's like, when can I get the tools from you guys? So they're gonna do it.
It really boiled down to, you guys make a ton of great tools and ton of great products, but Anthony and I realized we use primarily 3 favorite tools. And that's what we wanted to sell, was the 3 that we use absolutely the most. The 3 that I have in my home garage, the 3 Anthony has in his garage, the 3 that we use primarily on camera here. So we wanted to make sure that you guys understood these are the same 3 style tools that we use day in, day out here, and we know very well, like the back of our hand.
Yep.
So
to celebrate that, I'm going to sweeten the pot. This is going to be a surprise even for Jeff. Jeff doesn't know this.
He doesn't know this?
But he knows this part's coming. I'm
okay.
going to sweeten the pot a little bit. So what you see here, this LHR-15 in that bag, which is full of pads and compound, is going to go to somebody who's posted a question or a comment on YouTube during this live stream. All the questions that we've gotten already, and any that we get until the end, after we take off these mics and sit down and cool ourselves off and think, wow, that was awesome, we're going to scroll through and we're going to find one of you guys, and we are going to tell you that you won an LHR-15 complete kit. Maybe we'll even sign it. I don't know. We could sign it.
That's a good idea. I like that. We'll sign it, and I think we'll announce the winner tomorrow morning.
Yeah, we'll put it on social media tomorrow.
Yeah, there you go. So Jacob, I know what I'm on next.
So, because, stand by. I'm going to go down here for a second.
Oh.
I am feeling extra
Going
generous.
downstairs.
Going downstairs.
Yeah.
I'm feeling extra generous. So,
wait.
We are going to make another winner.
Hold on a second. One winner's not enough for you?
One's not enough. I feel like we need 2 winners.
So not only are while supplies last, those folks that spent $75 on an order, not only are they winners by getting one of these
for free,
but that if you've commented on the live,
you're automatically entered.
You're automatically entered to win the 15 kit.
Yep.
What's this? Who's going to win this?
This will be somebody else in the comments.
Oh wow.
We are going to give away a nano kit, the fully loaded nano kit in the box. And I've actually got one each here with me. So you've got your choice of long or short neck. So we'll reach out and we're going to say.
And we can sign this one too.
Yeah, we'll sign the outside of this
one too.
I'll sign everything. It just devalues your product. But I mean, if you want me to sign it, I'll sign it. But we're going to give away a nano kit too. I feel like the amount of questions and engagement that we get on this, I think, you know what? The TRCMA audience
Everybody's
deserves.
giving one word comments.
Yeah. I'm not saying that the amount of words helps, but is that Anthony Fisher I just saw comments?
Hold on, Anthony's not allowed to be in that.
Yeah, we have to do the fast disclaimer.
Yeah.
Not open to the legal rights.
But that is amazing and truly unbelievable. Thank you guys for doing that and giving that away. So make sure you get your comments and your questions in. So you've got that.
Only got, oh gosh, there's only like a half hour to get comments in.
There really is. It's hopefully you got your friends and you're letting your family know, your mom, your dad. Need comments in there. Win those, get those prizes in. You know,
go to your neighbor's house, log onto their computer, get them on YouTube, and have them post something.
Yeah, there you go. So I was just gonna say, I got that because I fell in love with that hood.
It's a fun hood.
I am notoriously a huge fan of single stage paint.
It's fun.
I love polishing on single stage. For some people, it can be really difficult and frustrating, but it's something that it's very messy.
Yeah.
Because you don't realize it, because you've been, it's exactly the same amount of mess as a normal car.
But you don't see it.
But you don't see it. But when you're blowing out your pads and you got red paint all over the place, it gets. The giveaway is not worldwide. Thank you, Nick, for saying that. Sorry.
Unfortunately, these are 110 volt tools, so if we sent them to other parts of the world, they
just wouldn't work.
So you'd be getting a useless tool.
Lower 48, folks. Sorry.
This plug is not useful for many people.
Sorry, Dina. Oh, Alaska and Hawaii. Okay, that's
continuous 50. We'll cover 50.
The continuous 50. There you go.
Maybe even into Canada.
Maybe. Ooh. But yeah, no, that I love it because that was a great presentation for the fact that people see exactly how much material is coming out of a pad.
Yeah.
Because no one ever gets to know that. And there's so many folks that are entering into detailing or entering into polishing. They're just starting out and they just don't understand
they're told,
the mechanics.
Yeah, they're told over and over again, you got to clean your pads and pad loads, but there's not a visual. And so we did our Jason and Todd did our 3-day master class, if anybody saw where we fixed that 67 Fiat Tony. And he was a single stage car, and it is such a powerful learning thing. So I was glad when you guys had a single stage, because we could polish on this Audi all day, and you would never know how loaded or unloaded that pad is, because it just is, there's no visual reference. So it's such a great learning tool. I encourage, even veteran detailers can learn from polish on something with single stage and pay attention, like what we just did here. How fast does your cutting pad, your preferred cutting pad load? How fast does your finishing pad load?
We saw it here.
Yeah, and we made dark red pads and light pink pads. That is an indication of how much material we
The other thing is residue control.
Yeah.
That's something that so many detailers forget, is especially when you're not paying attention, you're not cleaning your pads out, and you're wondering, God, why am I putting in more defects? Why is this polish not working well? Why is this pad's garbage?
Yeah, or it worked and then it stopped working. What happened? Right?
Exactly, because so many people don't understand. With clear coat, it's all invisible. It's all invisible.
And the reality is, in most modern, late model cars, it's all clear coat anyway. But even at our academy, we deliberately get single stage painted hoods in because, as you mentioned, you can visually see immediately what's going on.
Fastest way for somebody to learn what paint load looks like.
And this was easy. We went down to the junkyard, we found a hood, 30 bucks. Go grab one. Seriously, guys, we tout this so many times. Pick up a hood, especially if you want to learn some stuff. They have single stage paint there. Lots of cars still from the 80s that have single stage that you can pick up.
Take a towel with you, a little bottle, like a small bottle of compound, and just walk up to a car. If you're not sure, rub it on there. And if you get color transfer onto that towel, bingo,
you don't even need a bottle of compound. You got spit.
Yeah.
You can spit on a towel and rub it on there. And if that white towel turns the color of that paint, that's single stage.
We're no way recommending you spit at your local junkyard.
Don't spit on the towel. Please, just rub it on there. But the point is, that's something that's very simple. A heck of water bottle, squirt some water on there and do that. It's not that hard to decipher, but it makes such a huge difference, and it's just about building skill set.
Yeah,
it's a
learning opportunity.
Yeah.
Well, buddy, I'm so stoked that you guys are going to finally have these. I mean,
I'm very excited.
Not that you haven't had them here, but now you can share the love.
That's right.
All those, and I love that you guys have your favorites in stock, because for those that don't know, they don't carry everything we sell because they test and validate and they pick their favorites. You guys have a curated collection at TRC.com. So it's guys like him and Anthony and Dane, and everybody tests them, and we know they love these because they've been in a million videos. And they keep inviting me back, so apparently it's not that bad.
It's not. No, we like it.
It's all
we like it.
Congratulations.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. It's proud to be part of the family.
Yeah.
Okay, so Dane, I've been trying to read them, but they keep flying past so quickly.
Yeah, I'm only posting about a fifth of the ones that have come in. It's madness. You absolutely set them on a tear. I can't even keep up with the real questions between all the people just writing one word so they can be validated.
I'm so glad that I could stretch you out at the end of the day, Dane.
Oh, that's what I needed. Just to cross the finish line here with
look how sweaty Dane looks all of a sudden.
Jeez. Okay. Well, we'll keep those coming, but feel free to put real questions in there too, guys. I know you're excited, but jeez.
Yeah. With some real juice.
Yeah. If you guys have any questions, do you want to try something? Maybe do a little mini work on the Audi?
Yeah.
Well, so the great capability of our new microfiber pads is that it's positioned for hard paint. We've got hard paint.
Let's do it.
You want to do mini stuff?
Let's try mini. Why not? We haven't done a mini yet. You want the course, sir?
Well, we did validate that combo yesterday.
We did a test spot yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
Let's find something real funky to work on.
Right here.
There, so it's a little dusty. Here, let's wipe that off.
Some light scratches right here. It's kind of nice.
That side got a bit of scratches on it?
This has a few right here in this spot.
Let's do that side, because I think we can get that on camera a little bit easier.
You can actually see the scratches, Seabass, if you can get in here and
right there is good
catch
stuff,
those in the light by moving back and forth. You might be able to notice them. They look like little Mars, like, electrical cord or something through over the hood. Look at that, like a hose slap is what that looks like.
Yeah, that's this is a rental, so I'm sure there's a rental guy somewhere that propped the broom up against it and went to lunch.
Yeah.
Thanks to the fine folks at Enterprise for renting us cars. We think your cars are great. We return them shiny.
Yeah.
So.
It is always fun when most of you guys don't understand. If you haven't gone to a detailed training many times, we pull in the rental cars and clean them up and then take them back. So you're welcome, rental car companies.
Yes.
So don't forget to rub this back and forth. I want to get a little more compound.
Yeah, you're a little dry there.
Yeah, the biggest thing is making sure those pads are loaded correctly. That's the hardest thing when working with a microfiber pad is so many people.
Yeah, it's virtually never going to self-prime. You have to force it into the fibers, otherwise you're just polishing with part of the pad, really.
Yeah. Now, I'll just say this off the top, since now we're selling them. The one thing about that LHR 75E is that if you're noticing on the video, sometimes the pad stalls out a little bit.
Yep.
The difference with a smaller 3-inch polisher compared to like the 15, just bump the speed up a little more. You've got to watch your pressure. And
there's also, I mean, we're working on, that's the grabbiest material.
It is the grabbiest material.
In a slight curve. How'd you do, Jason? You get to keep your job?
80%.
I'll take it. 80%'s passing. Yeah, you're working with a grabby material on a grabby paint. But also, the misconception that rotation that isn't whipping around, you're not working. The fact of the matter is we have webinars on this and we've done the math, and you want to get really nerdy. The rotation is only a very small percentage of the actual total movement. The orbit is what's doing the bulk of the work. Your orbit is what's doing it. If you lose 10, 15% of your cutting power to rotation stall, not the end of the world. Make your adjustments, tool speed, pressure, angle, whatever. But if you can't keep rotation, as long as it's moving occasionally, if it's doing one of these and it goes the other way, you're fine. Your rotation is your radiator. It's what's keeping the pad cool. It's helping move things around, but it is not the cutting aspect. The orbit is the cutting.
Workhorse.
Yep, exactly.
So here's 100% now.
Seabass, you want to get in there so we can see this sucker?
That easy, huh?
I want to focus in there. I don't know if you can need a focal point. So all those scratches and everything.
They go.
Oh, that looks good.
They go. I'm hoping for a credit when I turn this back in. The fine folks at Enterprise will take a little bit off the bill. Hey guys, I fixed these scratches for you. What's
just
that
so you know?
Just so you know.
That check mark
I'm
on
gonna
the
need.
sheet?
I hope you guys are getting before and afters. I'm gonna need those for my return to the rental car tomorrow.
So that scratch that was there, I took that out. I took this scratch out. I took that. That happened to us when we were in Puerto Rico about 4 years ago. Jason and I were in a rental car, and a guy just blew past us, like tried to squeeze through and scuffed the back bumper.
Yeah.
We learned about a new method. Jason Rose used his hand, a little compound, and was able to buff out some of those scratches by hand.
Little known fact, he's absorbed so much compound and microfiber into his, it actually just extrudes from his skin. So you lick his hand and rub it, and there you go.
But we were able to protect the rental car from that.
So this is a great demonstration of the capability of the DA microfiber system. So our aggressive blue combo removed those defects. I got 80% on the first application. I finished off the
you had a couple more quickies and
more quick passes done.
And that's glossy too. Like, I mean, there's no visual distinction in terms of it's not like this haze spot, which
this
you would
is
expect
for sure.
Yeah, you would expect a car. You go, oh, I just pulled out these really nasty scratches, right?
Traditionally with microfiber too.
Yeah, it's the prevailing. It's a microfiber cut's great, but sometimes I always have to do a second step, or I have to chase a haze. Well, when we work with these things, especially on hard paint, again, hard paint is really what these things excel at doing.
It's what they're really designed for.
It's amazing to think that you can one step with a microfiber pad if you know your paint system. So you do that test spot as Jason recommended, maybe with a wool, and it doesn't cut fast enough, and you jump to one of these. Odds are, if you do it right and you know this is hard paint, you're going to get a wax-ready finish.
Another exciting thing to point out about our test spot here is we tried all 3 of the combos yesterday on this car. Quickly realized this was very hard paint, and interestingly enough, every single one of those 3 combos did not deliver a haze on this finish. They all finished, perfect.
Yep.
It was just a different degree on defect removal capability. So we ended up with our strongest combination to go after some of these deeper scratches, and that is the finish that you get.
Yeah, that's amazing.
All right, Dane, you got anything else for us besides a lot of just comments people want free stuff?
I just heard in my ear though. I do have to give an update. There's only 8 of these DA polishing kits left in the storefront as of like less than 4 minutes ago.
You know what's interesting? Every one of the tools you now carry is more than $75.
Technically, they could buy a tool and get one of these.
That's weird.
That's
interesting how that would happen.
Yeah.
That's a good plan, actually.
Yeah. Why don't you go on there, get yourself one of those little machines, get yourself one of these kits for free. How amazing is that?
Oh, man. So let me try asking some real questions here in between all the people just fighting over who wins what and who's going to, steal it Fast and Furious style in a truck.
First off, guys, remember, for an easy $10, you can make a difference in a child's life.
Hey. Now, that's important.
By picking up one of
whatever you're ordering, that should be on your menu, too.
You could order 8 of those and get a free kit.
You should throw that in. Yeah, technically, you could buy 8 of these and get this guy. How awesome is that? Who would have thought, right? So seriously though, pick up a coin. It all goes to a good cause.
Definitely.
Oh, yeah. Now, we got a bunch of people saying they're going to go buy some pads, polishes, and possibly a machine or two now. So that's good news. But I will get to some of these questions because there's a lot of stuff about training events and all these kinds of things. Let me take a... God, I have like 3 pages now to go through, you guys.
I need you to create a separate file, all the stuff that's specifically bribing me, like offers of money, food, riches.
Yeah, there was literally people...
I need to just put those into just a separate file, give me those later.
Well, we had a few folks like asking if they could bribe you with king cake or, you know, what you needed specifically to be bribed. Yeah, I saw a lot of that floating around. Now, Tim here is just asking, any Rupes training events in Arizona soon?
So we don't, so let's clarify something, that when there is a Rupes training event, if it's outside of our training center in Colorado, that is organized by a independent or authorized distributor. So one of our distributors organized it, and we go in support. So we don't always schedule them. The best thing to do is check with the distributor in your area. So you can go to rupesusa.com, you click on distributor locator, punch in your zip code, and you can search up to 500 miles around you and find the guys that are around you. And if they're not, you know, they don't have trainings posted on their site, you can always call up and say, hey, I'd really be interested in doing a Rupes training. That's how a lot of those get started, is a distributor go, hey, I've got a bunch of guys calling me, they want training. Well, great, we will be happy to come to your shop, Mr. Distributor, and do a training. Now, if you want to come to Colorado and hang out with Jason, see the mountains, get some training in the academy, see how the tools are built, which is really cool, you get to go tour the factory. Information on those trainings is at rupesusa.com, and you click the Bigfoot Academy tab, and we've got the next couple are sold out. I think there's still some in June, July, August that there's availability, and we also have a 3-day masterclass in May that has a couple of spots left if you want to do that one.
We also have on our training team some Rupes trainers that do travel around and partner with our distribution partners to put on training events. So they aren't on our website. They would be on that distributor's website. So you just kind of have to check around. But I love what Dylan said. The best suggestion is if you buy your Rupes from a local distributor, hit up that distributor and say, hey, we would love to have a training class, and then we, you know, get a call from them and we try to make it happen.
Yep. It's always fun to go travel and work with a distributor and meet you guys locally, so please do that.
All right. Well, let's go back to my queue here. I've got Luke Berge. He's in the building here. He's saying, hey, Dylan, maybe a year's supply of beard oil could appear at your doorstep.
You know, if you knew how much I spent on beard oil, I mean, that's a pretty healthy offer.
That's pretty nice.
Oh,
some money.
Well, here's a fun one that could go down a deep rabbit hole. You know what? I'm going to save that one because I'll go to some quicker ones here. Let's start with Tim's other question. What is your preferred microfiber soap for Rupes pads?
So we have Rags to Riches in the Academy. We've tested that, and that's a great product. We do a lot of cleaning. If you've ever seen our videos, we have a wheelie bin full of pads when we're done with the training. So we do machine washing. Any quality laundry soap, Rags Riches, any of those work. We add white vinegar in ours to help with the rinse cycle. It's always in the rinse cycle to help them rinse cleaner. Because as tends to happen, students leave pads on carts and they get all dry and crusty. And so we need something to help rinse those out. But you know, we play with a little bit of everything out there. Everything from just standard laundry detergent to the rag company stuff and everything in between. We're always kind of looking for the best way to clean a whole lot of pads in a hurry. And Sarah, who helps run our training center, definitely, she's got experiments going all the time with buckets and pre-soaks and this and that and this combination. So it's an ever-evolving thing, but stick to quality stuff.
No, there's a lot of different ways to clean microfiber pads and microfiber towels, but if you are doing it by machine, my recommendation is kind of give a nod to the manufacturer of that washer, because some of these washers are designed for different detergents, different styles. So you want to make sure that the machine that you're using, you kind of pay attention to what chemistry they're asking you to use.
And the good news is Rags to Riches works in all machines, including high efficiency washing machines.
They approve of it.
Yeah.
I got Samantha here asking, how many passes do you think is a good rule of thumb to change your pad and clean your pad? So just wondering, how far do you go before, better clean it?
Great question. That's a variable. I think the rule of thumb that we teach at our academy.
But we just saw why. I mean,
exactly. every pass.
Well, with microfiber especially, the frequency of your swapping pads or cleaning pads is going to be more frequent with microfiber, simply because the load happens faster. So your frequency is going to be more. and then less with wool and less with foam. But the rule of thumb that we recommend is like every other panel or every 2 panels, which works out to about 20 minutes of polishing. Then you'll want to stop and clean that pad. And then just to manage a buildup in internal heat in a pad, you'll want to have you'll want to do a car with a minimum of 2 pads. So if you're doing a car with wool or if you're doing a car with microfiber, you want at least 2 of those pads. And you're going to swap every 20 minutes. And because if you take that same pad and do the entire car,
you basically killed that pad.
You're building up heat throughout the whole pad.
Yeah, your results are dropping off. I'm a 4-pad guy, so if you take your average size sedan, right, your Honda, let's say a Honda Accord of the world, I treat it in 25% sections because that's easy for me to remember. Like if I just go, I have 4 pads and I'm going to do a corner essentially of every part of the car, and I'm done with this corner, I switch to a new pad. I always tell people think it's, you can make pads. Of course you want me.
So you want me to buy 4 pads.
It's a conspiracy to sell more pads. The reality is, if we wanted to sell more pads, we'd tell you to use 1, because that 1 pad would die after every car, and you'd have to buy a new pad. If you use 4, you should be getting dozens of cars out of those 4 pads, because it's the mini hands make light work theory,
you're
right?
not heat cycling those pads to death.
Yeah.
You're using them just a little bit at a time.
Yeah.
And therefore, those 4 pads are actually lasting you.
Yeah,
longer.
significantly longer. Yeah.
Good question.
Very good question.
Yeah, and now I've got quite a few here, and we only have limited time, so I'm going to kind of power through these if you don't mind giving fairly quick answers. So let's start with Joshua here. He's been asking this repeatedly. I want to make sure I give him a chance to have his answered. Doing an RV in a month, and it has some vinyl stripes that have swirl marks. What would you recommend the process be for that?
Vinyl's tricky because it doesn't like heat, and as we were talking about, polishing is a friction-based process. It's going to be heat. So we actually have a video on this. If you're going to do it, you have to stay on the extremely mild side of the spectrum. So you're on like kind of the Uno Pure, maybe Uno Protect level. If you're trying to do that kind of one-step thing, you're going to probably stick to a more mild pad. I wouldn't go fiber pads. I don't even think I'd touch wool. You're going to be pertly on foam and probably on the finer side of the scale. And you're also going to shorten cycles. You're going to work real light, short bursts. Because the second you overheat vinyl, you don't just run the risk of damaging it. You can wrinkle it, you can discolor it, twist it, all kinds of things. It's plastic, so essentially, right? So as it gets hot, it may tend to move under the pad, and then you've got a much more expensive proposition. So if you're doing this RV and they say, hey, you can warn them, hey, I can try and polish these, but if I get real aggressive, it might damage them. Well, maybe the customer's okay with that. Hey, let's try, and if it doesn't, I got to have them replaced anyways because they're so bad. Maybe that's the answer. If they say, no, we've got to keep them on, then you've got to stay really, really mild and try to preserve those.
Okay. And this one, I'm not even going to read it. I'm just going to let Dylan read this one. It feels very targeted. So here it comes from G. Davis.
Has there ever been a Rupes test product that showed initial promise and ultimately disappointed? Sort of like when the Angels signed Pool Holes.
I'm going to need some time alone to be tapped by Beloved Angels. I'm going to opening day next week, G. Davis. You better knock that stuff off.
Plenty of toss that bad juju your way.
Plenty of times. We have a scrap pile of concepts and ideas and things. I think almost any company that's serious about their product development, you don't want to get an idea and you really, really want it to work. And I know there are companies out there that would just push it into the market, even though they know it's probably not ideal. We don't do that. To answer the question, there's a graveyard of concepts and ideas at Rupes USA and Rupes over in Italy that great ideas, and maybe the technology isn't quite there yet, or they're still in progress, or maybe we just said, you know what, that was a great idea, but it's not going to work, so we're just going to stop. So
maybe you can always go back and resurrect, maybe something in the graveyard.
As technology and chemistry and materials and all things change all the time, there's always a possibility for it to be resurrected.
And I've seen many versions of this question here, but I'll just ask it. What would your suggestion be as a great first polisher for a new shop owner? Just somebody who's starting out. Where would you turn them? I have a guess, but I think you know. Yeah, see, that's what I was going to say. Yeah, it's an LHR 15.
LHR 15 is going to be probably the favorite. I think also the Duetto that I was running, that's also real popular. I tend to think the Duetto is probably a little bit more, an enthusiast can pick up a Duetto and be very comfortable with it. In a shop, it's not the most powerful tool, so maybe it doesn't have enough cutting power. It tends to be like guys like Aaron Knox from KXK love the Duetto, but that's not his cutter. He likes to use that as his jeweling and finishing tool. So it's a good complementary tool. So I'd say of what we've got here, the 15 is really the way to go. And then you've got 2 options within that. The 15 Mark III is the the current model, the best of the best, all the features. Then you have the 15 ES, which is the original generation tool, which some of us own the original versions. It's still made, and it comes in at about $150 less in general. So if you're looking to shop on a budget, that's an option. But if you want to shop and you want to be serious, and you're going to be running it all day, that 15 Mark III is the guy. So
there you go.
Okay. Now I got the Bearded Hunter here. Speaking of soft paint, specifically GM Black, do you have any tips to keep from adding slight marring back in when you do that final wipe?
The final wipe part. Yeah, that's challenging. I defer to the towel experts on this one.
Yeah.
Oh, the final wipe while using panel prep is what he says. Okay.
Same thing. You got to pick the right towels.
Yeah.
Too many times guys will use a very soft, nice towel to remove the compound or the polish, and they're like, sweet. And then they go grab a junk towel. Because they're like, well, I'm just getting panel wipe on it. Or
the very last thing I'm going to use is the worst.
It's already pretty bad. I want to ruin the towel even more. And then they use a junky towel on it. Don't use a junky towel. Grab another nice towel or something like the FTW, which works really great.
That's a good suggestion.
Panel wipes and solvents on when you're trying to remove polishing oils.
Yeah.
Now, I can't find the comment just a second, but I know I saw one that kind of ties into this where people were asking, do you guys have a preferred kind of prep wipe, panel prep kind of spray that you recommend that you prefer when, say, you're doing it in your shop?
Yes.
Very coy.
Yeah, very cool. Anything that you buy at theragcompany.com works perfectly.
There's some good ones. The thing you need to make sure when you are selecting that spray, there's two things to consider. If you are installing a coating, use whatever the coating manufacturer recommends first. Don't go, bench chemist on them.
Everybody likes to make their own bathtub gin.
Of course, right? But don't go bench chemist. If they say use this, sometimes it may just be because they want to sell you something else, and that's fine. But there's also, from good companies, quality companies, there is a reason.
There's chemistry built into it.
Chemistry, because there's multiple types of formulations and things that can be in or not in a panel prep spray. You have solvent and alcohols, and some have scents, and some have colors, and some don't, and all these things.
Some allow the coating to bond better.
Yeah. So you've got to make sure. And then if you're dealing with, there's a lot of polishes out there that have incredibly durable fillers. You got to use something that's strong enough to get those off.
Right.
The manufacturers of compounds aren't always going to tell you. They're not always as transparent as we are about filler content and if there is any. So I recommend having probably a super strong one. G-Technic Panel Wipe is a good option. Even if you're not going to use it for every coating prep because you have a preferred coating prep or a recommended one. But that's a really, really strong one. That's going to pull those fillers off. And that's what you want. You want to make sure that you're getting, if you have a polish and you don't know it has fillers, you want to get those off. And that's Truth Serum.
Well, and I'll just remind everybody that the Rag Company sells a number of different panel wipes and paint preps that kind of run the gamut of that spectrum of cleanliness. So it's nice to get one of everything.
Yeah, just buy
one of them will do the job depending on whatever it is you're doing. Now, I've got limited time here, so I'm just going to ask one more question that I think is a good way to round it out. Apologies to anyone whose question I didn't get to. There were just so many of you and so little time. But don't worry, the guys are watching. They're gonna find your comments, and somebody, maybe two somebodies, are going to be pretty lucky. So let me ask this last one here. I've got Anki Maldonado saying, I would like to learn paint correction but never touch a polisher. Do you guys have any classes for beginners? I feel like this is something Jason might even want to answer.
Yeah, so at our academy, we teach all levels of paint polishing, from novice, beginner, never polished before in your life, to intermediate, to advanced, and then we have our master level, which includes a lot of sanding and polishing to show car quality finish. So the answer is yes, we do have all levels. You can go to rupesusa.com, check out our existing classes, but make sure you click on that one button that says you want to be informed of.
Yeah, join the mailing list, because that's where we send out class announcements first. I think a good fit is our one-day. We have a one-day class that focuses pretty much almost entirely on random orbital. We mix in a little bit of melee gear driven, and it's the perfect class for getting your head around how our system works and getting paint correction at a very, very good level with those tools. So,
and it's worth every penny.
Yeah,
I will say that.
His team has done a fabulous job with some YouTube videos on our channel. You can see a lot of really good information on how to polish.
That's actually, I'm glad you remembered that. If you go to youtube.com/Rupes, there's a playlist called Bigfoot 101, and it is, I think it's 11 videos, and it walks you from everything from just even understanding the terminology.
Nice.
What are the different terms for defects, and what are the different things? the types of materials for pads, the compounds, and then how to apply it in the basic. We call it 101 because it's like the 101 entry-level course for college. You can watch that video and it will get you the official recommendation on application, and we cover everything from paint hardness, priming, wipe off, edge work, all that stuff. It's a great video series as a resource if you don't come out for training.
That's excellent. Thank you for pointing that out. Now, any last things here from you guys before we round out the day? I want to give a big thanks because you guys have been an awesome demo, and it never feels like enough time with you guys.
That was a really, really fast.
It flew by.
I tried to warn him. It was his first time. It's going to go by really, really quick.
Yeah.
They go quick.
Yeah, they go very fast. And thank you, everybody, for watching, because without questions, it doesn't.
True to form, though, we've done a really good shiny
There's a couple of shiny spots, and now we're going to go back to Colorado.
Do you want to run a camera back over there real quick just to show a little side-by-side before we close everything out? Just to point it out.
Yeah, let's get over some.
There it goes. All right, what are we looking at?
That was our coarse cutting compound, coarse microfiber, and very, very quick pass with the LHR-15 on the most raggedy hood we get our hands on. So that would be, I would think, definitely classified as wax or coating ready at that point. And then on this side, we tried the weakest combo of products we have, which would be Uno Pure, which is an ultra fine finishing polish, our DA microfiber white pad, which is our least cutting microfiber, and the LHR-12E Duetto, which is a 12 millimeter orbit, so smaller.
And this still, it removed the oxidation, but we still have the deeper scratches.
Deeper scratches, but it's an excellent illustration of what's capable, even with a mild combo and a pretty mild approach. You can get some result on that. Yeah, Dane, I'd echo. These always go by fast, and I'd thank everybody for watching and commenting. I mean, I know we threw blood in the water for these sharks, but but it's always fun because it makes the time go fast and we have stuff to talk about, so it's great.
Yeah, I'm feeling like chum over here. Okay, so thanks so much, guys. And yeah, that was a great demo, and everybody thoroughly enjoyed it. I could definitely tell. So yeah, in case you hadn't figured that out, guys, we're selling Rupes tools now, the ones specifically that Levi, Anthony, and the crew decided were the right fit, the stuff they really like and they want here, sold at TRC. So that's a fun new development, and you should go check that out at theragcompany.com. What you should also check at theragcompany.com are these charity coins, especially today's, because it's the Rag Company's charity coin going towards JDRF, the Juvenile Diabetes Research Foundation. So that's fantastic, near and dear to Levi's heart. If you want to, bribe them a little bit, you buy these coins, you tell them you bought one, and once again, it all goes towards charity. 100% of your purchase of these special limited edition coins goes towards the charity that's mentioned. Well worth it, and you can feel good doing it because all of that is going towards the charity in question. So we're doing this every day. Each day is a different coin and a different charity. And it's really something. So it's something we're trying this year. We hope you guys enjoy it. And who knows what the future holds, but that's what we're doing this time around, and I think it's pretty fun. So anyway, guys, this is it for today. But don't worry, there's more coming up tomorrow and the next day, starting with Veloci and Solution Finish and the Wrap Institute, covering our morning tomorrow. And then later in the afternoon, we will be kicking it over with Flex Tools, Buff and Shine pads, and P&S rounding out the day in the afternoon. We know you guys are excited for all that as well. It's gonna be fun. So mark your calendars, click set reminder here on YouTube. It's probably the easiest way to do it. It'll notify you on your app. And yeah, that's it, guys. Go check out theragcompany.com. Do what you got to do, but just know, sales every day, they're special, they're unique, and when the day is done, that sale is done, and then it's on to the next one. So, from all of us here at The Rag Company, thank you again for tuning in to yet another day of TRCMA 2022. And of course, as every day we've rounded out the day, we have a behind the scenes coming up here for that intro video you saw. So, look forward to that. Here come the dunes.
My name's Dane Hannon. It's been a rough day. Oh no! This is very slow.
Hey, at least you made it halfway down.
Dane, really quick. You have to commit on this fall.
You don't have to tell me twice.
Hey,
Okay.
where did you get that water?
We're in this. For like all day. It's still hot.
You have water here?
You have to commit on this fall.
You don't have to tell me twice.
So we thought we were the only ones dressed up today. Turns out there's either a bunch of Jedi or a bunch of monks here. I don't know what's going on. The drone shot. There's a car here.
We're landing.
What?
Oh. Okay, one more time. When you pull it out, make sure it's like that. Just like that. You're pull it straight up when you're coming out with it.
So it's out like, hold on, like this?
Yep, and then
like this.
No.
Oh, torero, eleva mi la cabeza tu sombrero. Non sei spagnolo, non sei cappellero. Sti naccano tu non mi sai suona. E sti naccano tu che ne va belli mamma. Torero. Sti battezza americano.